Wow. Wow, guys. Wow.
Taken down by such a dumb look.
Just, why am I still living paycheck to paycheck? Why? My job pays, like, a decent amount of money. Like, very median, very average. But, like, I should be able to live on this. This is a good salary. Good salary. Not anymore, bitch! Not anymore! Like, I've started to dread going to the grocery store to buy fucking tinfoil. Because off-brand, weak-ass tinfoil is like $10. I saw an 18-pack of eggs for $13. I walked in to the Walmart like a few days ago. I bought standard necessities, Ziploc bags, tinfoil, eggs, some fucking lentil pasta because I can't eat the real stuff and that has good protein in it, a singular pound of ground beef, milk, eggs, cheese. Tell me why I walked out of there having spent $70. 70.
People write Minecraft speedrun battles. Yes, people write.
My partner and I make $120,000 combined. $120,000. That's good. That should be okay. Like, we should be set. Took a lot of work and effort and resume building and all the good stuff.
What the fuck? What are they spending their money on?
Get here. Why are we both living paycheck to fucking paycheck? This is not sustainable. How are people gonna find a place to live? How are we supposed to continue to eat? Like, forget about me because we're still living. We're kind of making it. Like, it's not as horrible as it could be. But what about these young kids trying to start?
What do you spend your money on? Did she say anything about this, or is it gonna be this next like minute pontificating about how horrible capitalism is? Like,
life, trying to get out of their parents' house and be independent adults, and they can't. They can't. Paying for college has become a joke. Requirements for jobs have reached incomprehensible bounds.
Unemployment is like 3.5% right now. What are you talking about?
To income ratio is crazy. People are unable to start their lives. They're unable to build their own lives. What the fuck kind of dystopian bullshit is this? This country is gonna burn to the ground. It's gonna burn to the fucking ground. And we're gonna be the ones to burn it. Yeah, it's time. Let's go. Anyway, bye. Y'all, tell me why. Just, why?
To be fair, 120K is from 2 people, and 60K a year is just an above-average job. This doesn't come off super entitled like the title suggests. First of all, 60K from 2 people is a lot different than 120K from 1 person, because you're probably splitting rent with each other. Unless they're both earning 60K and they live separately, a lot of your bills are combined, right? If you spend $2,000 a month on rent, upgrading to another place with your significant other probably isn't going to be a 2x increase in rent, right? Like, you're splitting your bills at that point. 60K is an above average job. I thought the median salary was like 39K or something. Median salary USA. Median weekly income was 1,000 for the second quarter. If this rate persists for the entire year, that's 54,000 a year. Oh, okay. It's a bit higher than I thought. Quite a bit higher than I thought. Is this an individual or are these households? Median male is 50K. Median female is 37K. The median annual earnings for all workers age 15 hours, 42K. Huh. Median household income was 67.5K in 2020. So these guys are making almost 2x the median household income, assuming they live together. I want to know what kind of families these people come from. Honestly, 120K is not that much. It's enough to survive. But no one should ever look at it like a grand excess. It's not 1975. 120K combined income for two people doesn't get you very far in metropolitan areas like New York City. Does New York City have a... Is there like a considered a metropolitan area for New York City? I know there's like the 5 boroughs, but like if there was a metro area for New York City, would that include like fucking parts of Jersey and shit? Metropolitan area, New York City. Oh, it does. It branches out and includes like all of this shit. I wouldn't say 60K is that good. Just better than minimum wage. Jesus. Jeez. Past survey concerns with Twitter related to the safety of me and others and threats being made on the platform. This included direct as well as specific threats. Sometimes it includes statements that believe are inflammatory. The selective disclosure of my private communication with Twitter stokes the threat environment. So does actions that empower people. Ooh, this guy's getting ratio. The goal of Twitter files transparency. Here's some of the private emails I had with Twitter related to threats and safety which weren't released. Todd, this doxes me, invokes my wife. I've given it over to some security folks who wanted to flag for you as well. Hi, Scott. Sorry to hear that. I'll send it to my team right away. What are your thoughts on pit bulls? I'm convinced that like the pit bull shit is like it's a red herring for racial realism. Like it sounds cringe to say, but I don't understand how cringe it is. Like it's more cringe that people are so obsessed with pit bulls. Like these people, no offense, like half these people read like they've never owned a single dog in their entire fucking lives. And you're telling me you're this invested in the conversation? I don't believe it. I just don't believe it. I think the vast majority of the pit bull shit, if you're a conservative and you're focused, you're like obsessed with pit bull stuff, I just assume you're a race realist. There's no other reason. There's no other explanation for you to be so obsessed with such a fucking niche topic. I don't know. I don't believe it. Damn. Damn. Rem time. Holy damn. The Pitbull memes are funny, though. That is true. Yo, Asco, my girlfriend is a huge fan of OBS. If you ever just want to stick your dick in her and let it marinate, I'd be totally cool with that. Jesus Christ. Gross. Chill. Loads of classified documents from Joe Biden's presidency have been found. Okay.
Are we ready? Yeah, let me just change this. I'm ready when you are. All right, for sure.
I think we've watched this before.
Very well then.
Exact video.
Yeah, I did it. Yeah, I did it. These just ain't lyrics. I really did it. I really killed him. As for the body, I really hit it. I am the reason Jeffrey went missing. I am the reason Jeffrey not living. Jeffrey a bitch, I'll kill him again. It wasn't just me, I had help from my friends. Donnie and Tim, they got the guns. No gun license and registered ones. Paul and Kate wasn't involved, but they sell drugs. Yeah, they move weight like a U-Haul. Jim and Cornelius, they don't pay their taxes. IRS, come get they black asses. Fuck you talking about, nigga? I don't give a fuck about none of this shit, nigga. I've been doing this shit, nigga. I kill niggas, I sell drugs, nigga. Getting money, nigga. I post it all on my Instagram, nigga, so y'all know that's how I'm living, nigga. Follow me, bitch. Give a fuck about none of that, nigga. Yeah. I beat women. I do it for sport, get tickets on purpose and don't show up to court. I got chlamydia, I pass it on purpose. I'm not gonna treat it, I hope every bitch get it. Hey, take 5. What happened? It was exceptional, right? Nah, that was great. That was great. I gotta take a phone call. I just gotta call the FBI. I'll be back.
Nice. Women have no power. Patrice O'Neill, Red Pill University. Wow.
This is what's bothering me.
I feel like it could top it though, but
Sorry, hold on. We got a lot of people crying about Red Pill videos in the chat. Okay, we'll just play some Factorio. That's what I wanted to do anyway. Ready to go on Tuesday for Coach Red Pill? Yeah, I think so. Wait, it's Tuesday tomorrow? Let me check. Wait, why do I not have this on my schedule? I think it's 12 o'clock my time tomorrow, right? Guy. Are you here? Are you
Hey,
Holy shit.
what's up?
Oh my god. Hey, what's up?
Not much.
Well, what's up? You're a tier 5. You made it. You're dragged in.
I made it. I made it.
How's it going?
Good. Yeah, I'm like a new viewer. I've been watching for like a week,
Okay.
and
Damn, a
so
week and you're already tier 5 sub.
I know.
Oh my goodness.
You know, what's the point of sleeping when you can binge Destiny videos on YouTube? You know what I mean?
True.
True. So this is not actually what I wanted to talk to you about, but I saw that like video earlier of like bi women like don't want to date bi men, and that's false. I mean, I obviously can speak for all bi women in the world, you know, because I'm a representative of the international bisexual female conclave.
Nice job.
Yeah. And you know, we disavow them. I'm officially announcing that they're all disavowed, and they can no longer call them bisexual, and they're not invited to our parties, and they lose voting rights, and they are officially excommunicated.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, what'd you call in to ask about it?
Oh yeah. So I got two things, and if you don't want to talk about them, then I'll just you just keep me up.
Hey,
One
Destiny,
of
the
them
guy who made Dice
is,
suddenly called you out to a debate on Twitter.
basically similar to what I was talking about, which is like it'd be interesting to talk with you about like my experiences and your experiences dating like men and women on like Tinder, and you know, I got some opinions about how men are like how most men fuck up and make mistakes.
Okay.
And like how they can fix that. And then the other thing I was thinking about was last Thursday, YouTube floated to me the like feminism panel, and I had the same reaction that you had. I was just sort of like, oh fuck.
Are you talking about the Vice one?
Yeah, the Vice feminism panel.
Okay.
And I basically just kind of went on a journey. I like deep dived into it, and I have some things that I'm trying to work out of my head that I think would be interesting to sort of like bounce off you and see what you think about it.
Okay.
Yeah, so either or, whatever is interesting to you.
Yeah, whatever you want. It's your calling. It's your experience. What? Okay.
I'm in your house. All right. Cool. Well, I guess we'll do the I think the conversation about the feminism panel is going to be more interesting, but you know.
Okay.
Maybe it's more spicy. We'll see. So yeah. Basically, the first half, on like where they were basically talking about intersectionality and intersectional feminism, which like I'm like a casual when it comes to this topic. Like I'm not an academic feminist. I didn't do gender studies. I fucking studied comp sci. So, you know, I'm not a very liberal arts here, but, you know, what was I going to say? Oh, sorry, I got off on the topic.
You're good.
There.
You can figure it out. I believe in you, okay?
Thank you very much. So yeah, basically, like even I know that, okay, that we're talking about intersectional feminism, and nobody could fucking articulate what the fuck they were talking about. Like, they had no examples. They were totally lost. They were completely talking past each other. And I was like, my reaction was like, okay, I'm coming to this being like, I know what intersectional feminism is, and it seems like a good thing, but can I like articulate, you know, what it is and why it's important? And do I fully understand?
Yeah, I think this is one of the reasons why it's important to have like conservative friends, or at least friends that aren't 100% ideologically aligned with you, because then you kind of like test your ability to explain things to people that are different politically than you.
Yeah, totally. But that's kind of what kicked me off in the deep dive, where I was like, all right, I got to figure this out. So yeah, I kind of asked myself 3 questions, which maybe we'll just get to the first one. We'll see. But the first question I asked was like, what is intersectionality? Can I define it? And does it match with how it seemed to be characterized on the Vice panel? And then the second one is like, what are concrete examples of intersectional feminist issues? Like actual practical real life examples of why this is important. And then the third one is the first two I feel like I have an opinion on. The third one I am stuck on. And I feel like I would really, your analysis of it would be really interesting. Basically, the question is the popularization of this theory and the way it's sort of like interpreted by the general public, is it losing more people than it gains? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've never thought the problems. I don't think the problems have anything to do with the theories themselves. I think that the problems always have to do with the communication, basically.
Right.
Because there's a lot of concepts that aren't really even controversial. Like technically, like even the most red pill people ever will agree with the concept of toxic masculinity. Like they'll agree with the concept of patriarchy. They'll agree with the concept of intersectionality. It's just that the way that it's explained is always so fucking toxic that people just have kind of like a gut reaction to it, right? Like if you talk to a guy and you're like, do you think that men get a little bit fucked in society because of the way that like society expects them to act, you know, in terms of like taking care of their own emotional well-being, expecting them to work shit jobs? Like any red pillar would agree to that. And like, I mean, technically that's like a part of feminism, is talking about how patriarchy oppresses both sides. Or if you were to ask somebody, you know, like, do you agree that there are like aspects of like male masculinity that like keep men down and like drive up like male suicide rates and shit? Like they'll agree with it. You just can't say toxic masculinity because they get triggered.
Right.
So yeah, I've always, or like even like intersectionality is like really basic. Do you think that like there can be like multiple traits that come together that kind of influence how a person is seen in society? Like red pillars talk about intersectionality all the time when they say things like, you could be really rich but have no game, so you can't get any girls. Or you could be like, you know, you might be black or Asian in some dating markets, and even if you're really wealthy, you still have trouble, right? That's intersectionality essentially, right? It's talking about, yeah. So like they like the concepts are easy to sell people on. Like I think most people would believe in them. They just get like a bad rap because people suck at marketing them, because people get like so fucking caught up in like all the SJW-isms and like vilifying everybody who disagrees and shit.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah. The whole thing about like when they go on about like, oh, there's like a hierarchy of men and you know, there's the giga chads at the top and the alphas and then there's the betas at the bottom, and it's like, really? Like, no fucking way, dude. I'm amazed, man. That's incredible. I've never heard of anything like that. You know, what do you think we should call it?
Oh yeah, there's some like when I'm having like arguments with people, there are words that I won't even use. Yeah, I don't use like toxic masculinity or intersectionality or any of that. You just can't use those words because people will just lose their mind. They get triggered immediately.
Yeah, I even think like feminism has changed so much, and it has so much to say about the way men get fucked by society, like actual theory, right? It's not like really applied that way or seen that way, but I just think, but it's called feminism, right? I think that it's a fun, you know, maybe it should be called like gender issues or like gender activism or something. Like maybe we need a rebrand.
Well, that's what the people try to do with egalitarianism, right? They try to say we should call it egalitarianism instead. But then usually when people describe themselves as egalitarian, they usually hate feminists, and then it just gets weird. So I never know if it's like a dog whistle for something else. Not an intentional dog whistle, but it's like when somebody calls themselves a centrist. Like I know that 99% of the time you're conservative.
Yeah. It's like, it feels like such a shame, right? Because, you know, the point of this all is supposed to be like a few men at the top are winning, and then everybody else is fucked, and like everybody else is upholding it too, right? You know, like if we have a culture of patriarchy, we have like a rape culture. It's like women don't exist in a different culture.
Sure.
Like we're not from Mars, you know what I mean? Like so, and it just feels like, you know, it's really benefiting the whole system to have everybody fighting each other. Like you're never gonna overhaul it. We're never gonna win. We're never gonna make room for everybody if we keep just like bickering between us.
Yeah, true.
Anyways, so we agree on that. I think that's a really good point. Yeah. One thing I was investigating was I read this sort of original paper that like defined intersectionality by like, I don't know if it's Kimberly Crenshaw or Kimberly. I've only seen it written Kimberly. I'm not sure. But like, what a badass woman. Very cool. She's had a huge impact on the culture. She's amazing. She also like defined critical race theory, which is like insane. She like redefined feminism and like huge fucking impact. That's wild. Anyways, I'm ranting. But in the original paper, the definition was like, or the examples given were like, there are issues that don't affect demographic A and don't affect demographic B, but they do affect the people who are A plus B.
Sure, I could imagine that. Yeah.
Yeah. And they had some really interesting examples that blew my fucking mind. I'm gonna say one. I don't want to like fucking monologue, but there's one that I thought was cool. That like I was like, okay, I get it. Like intersectionality is important. There was a court case, and this article was written in the 80s, so the examples are pretty old. But there was this court case in the 70s where a black woman sued General Motors because she was like, okay, you're willing to hire a bunch of black men, and you're willing to hire a bunch of white women, right? But you're not willing to hire a bunch of black women. And the court just straight up dismissed it. They were like, no, there is protection for race, and you cannot prove discrimination by race. There's protection for gender, and you cannot prove discrimination by gender. And just the law doesn't protect against any like combinations.
Sure.
Which is just like get fucked. That sucks. Like the law just does not protect you from your immutable characteristics. Anyways, I found that compelling.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, anything else?
Yeah. I mean. Fuck. What was I gonna say? Let me look at my notes. I took notes. Yeah, I collected some examples. Like they were like, they were not giving concrete examples, which was kind of frustrating for both of us. So I got a list of those. But that's just kind of monologuing. But yeah, I mean, one thing I wanted to say is what struck me, right, is I feel like the characterization was like not correct, right? It was sort of like a bastardization of the theory, right? And I think the characterization of it was like everybody understands, right? Like, if you're part of multiple categories of discriminated groups, like you're experiencing more discrimination than if you were just in one group or in the other group by itself. Like that's just like basic addition. Like everybody gets, that's not controversial, right?
Okay.
And they were sort of like, it's not important that we talk about the unique issues of people that exist at those intersections. What we're going to do is we're going to do the addition, right? We're going to sit here and we're going to calculate. And everybody in the room, we're going to take your disadvantages and we're going to take your privileges and we're going to subtract disadvantage from privileges. And that's your score. And anybody with like a lower oppression score than you is your oppressor. And anybody with a higher oppression score than you is you are oppressing. You have oppressed. And it's sort of like a set up social hierarchy, right? Where you pay deference to those above you and you disparage those below you. And if you break that social contract, the response is like vitriolic rage and you must be excommunicated. And the true big villain, right? The true big villain is anybody with a 0 oppression score or negative oppression, right?
Sure, you're talking about like people derogatorily refer to this as like the oppression Olympics or whatever, right?
Right. And so that's like the final boss, the like rich, straight, cis male, that's like the final boss of the game. And here's my controversial, potentially you will disagree with this. I don't think that's a legitimate example of feminism, right? And I don't want to dunk on these women too much, right? Because even though I don't agree with it, I feel like I get why somebody would think this is good for society. Because I don't think it's done in malice. I think it's like people are trying to make a genuinely earnest attempt to like understand and like quantify essentially like human suffering and explain why we suffer. And
yeah, I mean, like even for anti-vaccine conservatives, like imagine most people are like coming at it, hopefully trying to make a better society. They just have disagreements on what that means, right?
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I'm like an atheist, but I think sort of like a lot of people have, lost their religion lately. And I think kind of the absence of religion, people are asking themselves, like, why do bad things happen to good people? And like, wouldn't it be super convenient for us if we could find like a simple, quick trick to be able to identify who's got it worse, so we know who to like prioritize first to help. And like hypothetically, I get like this system, like you could, you know, total up somebody's discrimination, total up somebody's privilege, and you know how bad their life is or how good their life is, so you know who to kind of like help first. But for me, it falls apart when you look at like any other number or any other possible metric to do this, like the like very often cited stat of like, you know, women, you know, attempt like 80% of the suicides, and men like make up like 75, I think, percent of the deaths.
I think 75% of suicides, are male.
Yeah, and it's like Jesus Christ, how can you look at that stat? You know what I mean? Those stats and be like, these people have it worse. You know, like it's just two different kinds of suffering, and there's like a million kinds of suffering, and there's a million kinds of ways of like having a good life, right?
Yeah,
and
I imagine so. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I just think you're never going to find an easy answer to it. It's too complicated. And I think I guess this is something you or like your chat or something could disagree with. I think it's legitimately people trying to make a better world. I guess you said that's true.
Yeah, I think even for conservatives, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I just think it's like a fruitless exercise. And I think it really is like pushing away people that could have been allies.
Probably,
yeah, including men. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say so.
But I can see some benefits to it, like, you know, if you kind of blend together like all the societal ills in like one movement, you essentially make like a Power Rangers situation where it's like potentially you make it like it's more powerful and it can get more done at once than before. Or it could be that it's like stretched too thin and it's like threadbare. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it just depends on where you aim your frustration and anger. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm just wondering, like, is the intersectional approach where you're sort of like looking at everything all at once, like disability and race and all of these things in like one big movement, like, is it effective? Like, it obviously reflects reality and it's important to consider, but like, is that strategy effective?
Well, it doesn't seem like it's that effective right now. Seems like it's pretty effective depending on how it's aimed, though, right? If you've got like some big cause, you rally people together, you aim your frustration at something, hopefully you get something done. It just kind of depends on, it just depends on, I guess, what you're aiming at, what your goal is.
Yeah. I just don't know how to, like, how would we fix it? How would we do that instead of sort of like all fighting each other?
Well, I mean, like I said, in my opinion, I think that getting people upset at something is really good, but I think aiming at something is really important. I think a lot of anger that doesn't have like a good direction doesn't really accomplish much. I think like Occupy Wall Street and BLM were two really good examples of a lot of people getting mad at the same thing, but they didn't really have a good direction or like policy positions to aim at. So it was just a bunch of people that get mad and then nothing happens. The civil rights movement might be a counterexample to where a bunch of people were mad about a particular thing, but they pushed for legislation, they pushed to get something changed, and then like measurable legislative change happened throughout the United States. So.
You know what's something that's interesting? So there was that like 1970 case, 70-something case I mentioned, and I was like, okay, that's a long time ago. Surely it's been fixed by now. Surely you can sue for like intersectional discrimination.
Mm-hmm.
And you can. There was a Supreme Court case that essentially like officially like set the precedent that you could do this. And it was in 2020. I was like, what? That is like really fucking recent, dude. That was really surprising to me. And you know, the case was this is specifically about employment discrimination, right?
Mm-hmm.
The case was a gay man who was fired for being gay. And they basically concluded, right, they were like, if you could change one of the protected characteristics and they wouldn't have been discriminated against, then it's discrimination. It's valid.
Mm-hmm.
It's, violates the statute. So basically they were saying if all else was equal and he was a woman, then it's discrimination, right? Which is like a good example or it's like legally, right? It's legally discrimination because of your male gender, which I found interesting.
Gotcha.
Just seemed like a good example.
Sure.
But it opened things up for like everybody else, you know?
Yeah, that's good. It worked.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, one thing that's interesting about like intersectional feminism that I was thinking about is, you know, this intersectionality thing was defined inside of the feminist movement, but there's like a million, like you mentioned, there's a million different intersections. Like, I feel like maybe it should like break out. You know, it's time to break out of the bubble and get more people on board with the fact that this is a thing. You know, like gay men is an example, and black men is an example, and like disabled veterans is an example.
Yeah, I mean, it probably depends on, it depends on like how much power those movements have over time. If you have a lot of power as a movement, you probably don't want to change much at all because you feel like you're winning, right? So it'd probably take these movements starting to fall off for them to open up a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyways, chat is like rise up. I don't know if that's sarcastic or not, but I like unironically believe that, right? You know?
What?
Like we should
Rise
stop
up?
fighting each other. No, like we should stop fighting each other. Like we all agree, right? Like betas, the fucking incels, the fucking militant feminists, you know, like rise up. The time for revolution is now. It's us against the gigachads. Like, you know, upend the fucking hierarchy. Make room for everybody, you know?
True, yeah.
Yeah, anyways. It's kind of a shame that we don't do that. But I really think, like, history is going to look back at this time and, like, it's not going to look back with fondness.
Why not? It's a pretty wacky world we live in right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess history never does, right?
I mean, I'm sure there's some time periods that history looks back on fondly, right?
Yeah. I guess so. Hard for me to think of one, though. There's basically no time in history that I want to go back to.
No time
You know
at
what I
all?
mean?
Not even samurais and anime and the Edo period and the Meijing and all that?
Yeah, things have not been so great for us ladies, generally.
Well.
So it's hard to imagine myself back in time and be like, that's a cool spot. Yeah. Anyways. God, let me look at my notes. Is there anything else I want to talk about? Yeah, a bunch of examples. Feminist theory is dope and helps everyone, and we should rise up. And oh yeah, like there's a bunch of things that are there was a moment there in the panel where they were like, can you name one barrier that women have, like all women have, right?
Yeah.
Which is like, yes. It's like, I mean, I of course, like women have made a ton of progress, right?
Mm-hmm.
And white women have benefited enormously, much more than other groups. But yeah, I mean, like abortion rights, you know, the whole opportunity cost of getting pregnant, that like really holds you back in your career. The fact that people see femininity as like really frivolous, you know, rape culture generally.
You said you did comp sci. What is like do you work in comp sci or?
Yeah. I'm a programmer working from home, so.
Gotcha.
Watching Destiny. I hack the system.
Nice job. What kind of programming do you do?
I do like full stack JavaScript, and mostly right now I'm working in like the ad ecosystem.
Okay, gotcha.
Which, oh man, I could tell you all about that shit. You wouldn't believe it, but Google is bad, man. Google's really bad. Anyways,
What do you mean by Google is bad?
The shenanigans they pull. Like most of my job is like getting around the bullshit that Google pulls to like suck as much money out of the ad ecosystem as possible and like steal it from everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Like an example is like, imagine you had like all. Okay, I don't want to do this to like rant. So stop me if I'm boring you.
No, you're good. Keep going.
If you hit a page, right?
Yep.
When you hit that page, in milliseconds, a auction happens, and all these people bid on how valuable your eyeballs are, right? Mm-hmm. And then ads are served, right? So basically, imagine this auction house, and Google stands in the middle, knowing everything that's going on. And at any point, they can stop the auction and say, you know what? At this price, we win for 1 cent more.
Okay.
For the previous auction. And also, like, if you think about other sort of markets, right? Like the stock market, right? These other exchanges, you know, Google basically knows everything about every ad on the internet, right? I mean, Google has their hands in almost every single ad you see, which is like, that's the internet, dude. That's their business, right? And they have a million products where from the page to getting the ad getting served, they take a cut at every level from everybody a million times. And they know all the shit about all the ads on the internet. And so they can leverage their knowledge to not only buy on the market, their own market, but sell on their own market. So like in the stock exchange, that would be like the NASDAQ can buy and sell on the NASDAQ. Like it's insider trading, right?
Interesting. Like front running, right?
I don't know what that word means.
When somebody can get like ahead of a trade basically and figure out what's going on and then position themselves kind of advantageously because they know everything that's going on. You said you did full stack in your Java. Does Java do like backend stuff? I have no idea.
JavaScript. Yeah. I do full stack JavaScript. The backends are generally like Node.js. I don't know if you know anything about this. But,
no idea.
Yeah, I started off as a Java developer, but I just really liked front end stuff. I like being able to kind of play around and see the UI changing as I fix stuff. And yeah, so I kind of transitioned into full stack.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, anything else? Any other notes?
Nope. I mean, you can kick me. Maybe I'll call back next time and talk about the whole dating thing.
Yeah, sure. If you have anything specific, feel free to call in and chime in.
Cool.
All right.
All right.
Have fun.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, no problem.
Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.
KJ, what up?
That was an accident, bro. I didn't even put my headset on. Fuck.
What's up, dude? Are you here to do the 14 different voices and say dumb shit again and trigger the fuck out of me?
Yeah, shit. I haven't even like muted your stream. Fuck. It was an accident. But I mean, since I'm here.
Yeah. Since you're
apparently I have a hate thread. That's great.
Nice job. Good work. Pretty soon, Mr. Girl will be reaching out to you.
No.
Oh, fun fact. Mr. Girl is reaching out now to Reddit posters. If you've ever had a Reddit thread deleted by me in my subreddit, he's now reaching out to those people.
Lamau. Anyway, if anyone wants to talk about the shit that they were saying on that hate thread with me, you're totally welcome. I don't care.
Are you calling
You can
out?
join this or tell me, well, I mean, if they don't want to join now, it's like whenever they want to join, I don't care.
Ooh,
I don't
any
mind.
Kelly haters. Nice reverb in the background. Any Kelly hater? Oh, nice. And we got the other voice going. Any Kelly haters want to hop on?
Someone apparently wants to punch me, so let's go.
Ooh, violence. Okay.
We love some violence. Why not? Apparently they're a girl as well, so fun.
There are girls too that want to be violent against you? Oh, hold on, miss.
It made me want to punch me in the face. I'm a 100-pound girl, so this comment isn't misogyny.
Nice.
Also, apologies if there's a double video. I didn't put my headset on. Shit. I'm a fucking misclick.
Okay? Are you okay? Yeah. Holy shit.
Let's go, Missy.
Jesus Christ.
Wait, what is this? Like somebody getting hurt in the gym? That's
What happened?
Okay? Are you okay? Yeah. Holy shit.
Is this look? I'm sorry. Somebody said, "Is this S-Fan's fault?" No. No, absolutely not. When you are when you're spotting somebody on bench, the idea is that if the weight starts to drop, you're gonna help them a little bit to lift it up. There is no such thing as spotting a bench where you can catch a falling fucking barbell. You're never doing that. It's never happening. Except for in like, when you're doing like competition lifts and you've got like one spotter on each side, maybe you can do it. But when you're just doing like a casual spot like this, you're never catching a falling barbell ever. That's never happening. If it slips, you're fucked. But you also, it's hard to, I don't know how it slipped out.
Damn, I wonder if he's got some broken ribs from that. That looks...
I don't know, it was pretty low when it dropped, but...
bruised anyway.
It's all their faults. 3 plates PR and only 2 spotters. Lakari should have been on the other side. I don't know. Are you really doing a 2-person spot on a 315 bench? I'm not saying 315 is bad. That's really good. That's awesome. But I don't think that's normal that you're dropping it here. Oh my god, what a freeze frame. Jesus.
Oof. Anyway, are you doing call-ins or what?
Yeah, basically. Why? What's up? You want to call in?
No, everyone was being like, well,
Why didn't she join when Richard Lewis was here?
Yeah,
and I'm
you
like,
did.
because if I join when Richard Lewis is here, then people would flame me for that. So there is no winning, only losing. Also, I didn't think you would go to bed at fucking before 9 p.m. Alright?
Well.
Give me a break. If you will talk to me about it, I will.
Okay, well, good luck. Little
Anyone
Tojo,
else
he's
wants
in
to
now.
talk about it? Yeah, okay, I'm gonna leave. Alright.
Oh, you're
That was an
leaving?
accident.
Yeah. But wait, who is this?
Hello,
What the fuck is this?
Little Tojo.
Sorry, my bad. Yo, what up?
What is up, Famalim?
Hello, Kelly Jean.
Hello, do you want me here? I can leave.
Why you guys all so
Yeah,
fucking
no, I don't really
loud?
have
Holy
anything for you. I'm sorry. I don't hate you.
That
So,
yeah,
there's that.
that's good. All right, my bad. I joined by accident. See you later. Bye.
Be careful.
All good. Bye. First of all, another T5. Another T5. Another Giga Chad T5 in the chat.
Oh yeah.
Or in the fucking
you
call.
guys are Giga
In Mad
Chads, all
Chat.
right. Giga Chads and straight jackets. What's up?
Sure. Shout out Kataji. First of all, shout out my nigga Kataji. She's set the new bar for how long a T5 is allowed to be in here.
All right.
So let's
true.
just
Base.
very fucking true.
Okay.
So get ready. Hold on, let me open up my notes.
Okay.
I've just got like 2 quick things and then 1 potentially long thing, but who knows. First one is I tried to wipe my ass while sitting down.
Okay.
Didn't go right. So my hand didn't touch the water, but the toilet paper touched the water. So
Okay.
now I'm thinking, which way do you go to wipe your, like, do you go through
I think
your
you just.
legs
I
in
think
the
that
front?
you have problems. I think you're a very special wiper, and I think that you should just do whatever makes you feel comfortable. Okay?
Well, I mean, I am going to do whatever the fuck I want, but I'm curious your way of doing it. Do you just go through the front or the back?
From the back. I don't know what you mean by go through the front. I don't know what the fuck.
Oh, you go through the back. So, like, you go, like, you put your hand behind you, and then you go that way?
Or like to the side, yeah.
Oh, see, I did it the way my wife does it. She goes through the front, but I guess that makes sense because she doesn't have a fucking dick.
Yeah,
so
their
she can do that.
anatomies are a little different, I think. Yeah.
I guess so, yeah. Because I went through the front, and then the toilet paper touched the water, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
That didn't work. And then I just stood up. But okay, maybe I'll try the back next time. Okay. Also, second question, or second quick thing.
Yeah.
You've mentioned a couple times now that you masturbate a lot.
Yeah,
Do you
just,
mind
pictures of your mom,
defining
yeah.
a lot?
No, I'm not gonna talk to you about my fucking cum habits. Just tell me what's your question?
Well, that was my first question.
Okay, well
The follow-up question was Darius came in a couple weeks back and he brought up the fact that he was using like a sex toy for the first time.
okay.
And that wasn't interesting. The interesting part was how almost all the dudes in the chat were like surprised or had never done this before, including yourself. Have you never tried like a Tenga or a fleshlight or something?
I think the fleshlights look like a waste of time to me. That's not saying I've never tried any toys before. I just think fleshlights are dumb. But that's just me.
Okay, that's interesting. Have you tried like any of the newer like automatic, like you plug it into a wall and it just like strokes for you?
Nope.
Bruh.
Why are they litty?
They I haven't used my hand in over like 2 years.
Jesus Christ.
I'm telling you, dog. Like, we're in 2023
True
now.
game changer.
Yeah. Oh, my nigga Darius. What's up? Have you, are you still using the fucking manual, like, Tengas and shit, or the fleshlights, or do you finally bought one that plugs into the wall?
Are you talking to me, bro?
Yeah, I'm talking to you.
No, but that sounds sick. If you could do that with like a VR machine, I heard that, and I'm actually very curious where you got that from. Because if you could synchronize that with like VR chat, that'd be a trip for me personally.
All right, so okay, do I got the hookup? Unfortunately, I haven't tried VR. I don't have like a VR headset. Like, that's just not for me. But,
Steven,
I understand.
Does this profile picture not look like NMP?
Let me check.
I do kind of look like
Yeah,
I'm
look
like half black, half white. Yeah.
I'm like imagining him this whole convo, and I'm just so uncomfortable.
Yeah, if you imagine him, maybe a little fatter, a little taller. But yeah, basically NMP.
Okay.
But anyway, so when I first started with like the ones that automatically stroke you, the first one that I got was from Fleshlight. It's called the Quick Shot Launch. Okay, I think it's a good starter. So if you Google it, it's not safe for work, so don't show it on stream.
Okay.
But the Quick Shot Launch, 100%, that thing is fucking amazing.
Damn.
But
Are you forcing people to like know about your sex like stuff right now, man? I'm just like because like I'm trolling when I do it, but like you're not trolling, and I'm a little fucking uncomfortable, dude. I'm gonna be honest.
That's interesting. I can make Darius uncomfortable. Huh. I mean, if you're uncomfortable, I'm sorry.
I'm just like I just don't want to think of you jerking it. I don't know, because I don't want to know this information.
So you don't want to know about the greatest sex toys known to man?
I already know about your mom, bruh.
Oh. Ooh.
Damn. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not good with the quick comebacks. You just got me, bro.
Yeah. So Steven, which side are you gonna pick? Let's
what?
be serious here. Which side are you gonna pick?
For what?
The Civil War.
Who's doing a Civil
You're gonna
War?
pick Iron Man or Captain America?
I'm gonna be honest. I actually never watched the Avengers Civil War movie.
I didn't watch it either. It seemed like absolute ass, and all I heard was that Spider-Man was in it. And it's like, okay, maybe I should go see it, but it just seems so boring.
Really? I heard everything really, really positive about it.
No, I even like the I've never liked Avengers movies.
I thought Winter Soldier was supposed to be good too. How do you not like all of like what are supposed to be the best Avengers movies?
Have you ever watched an anime movie before?
Yeah.
Okay, so in anime movies, they're always like, so it's 75% of it is like build up for the last 25% of like budget they made, and I feel like that's a lot of the Avengers movies, and I just don't like that. I feel like I'm being manufacturally built up to a moment, and I feel like the build up is always lackluster. And I feel
totally
like
disagree. I think that they are just like a giant fucking climax right after another because you spent all the movies building it up.
In Avengers?
Yeah, Infinity War is unironically. I'm not even a huge superhero. That's like one of my favorite movies of all time. Infinity War was fucking awesome.
I will double that. Infinity War was awesome. Yes.
I only like Infinity War because of the bad guy won at the end, so I thought that was cool.
Wow, edgy.
I thought the rest of it was pretty lame.
Okay.
Anyway, so which side are you picking, Steve?
Iron Man for sure.
Iron Man. Okay.
Wait, really?
I don't know. I like Iron Man. Is that a fucking crime?
But like, sorry, in the movies specifically, I thought Iron Man was kind of a bitch. Like I was Captain America.
Iron Man is like this cool Machiavellian, super intelligent, selfish, anti-hero, pro-hero kind of guy. Captain America is like, I want to do what's good for America. I don't know. He's fucking cringe.
Maybe. I feel like in the movies though, like Iron Man was the bitch because he was like, oh, like we're killing too many people, like we're saving, but we're still killing civilians. And it's like, bro, like
I don't know what they actually said in the movies because I didn't watch Civil War, so I can't speak to that.
Oh,
Okay.
I forgot. You're a dumb fuck. Didn't watch Civil War. Okay.
Yeah, my bad.
Why was my ex-fiance in this call with you late at night last night, Steven?
Okay, so I know that it looked weird, but you do know that in Discord, other people can change their names to look like other people, right?
I can see the Discord channel as well. I can click the name, Steven.
Yeah, but how do you know that was me?
What do you fuck? They can't change the hashtag.
Did you actually check? Do you even wait?
What is
Wait!
this
Raise your hands
news?
right now. What's my hashtag at the end?
0005.
Yeah, you checked. You just checked right now. I know you did.
No, I didn't.
You did.
No, I didn't. I'm not quick right now. I'm not quick. I'm a little inebriated. So no answer. Okay, keeping it silent.
Why you ask Sejin? He was in here too. Damn.
I know all about that guy.
Yeah, that guy.
I know all about that guy, and I could ask him, but he's not here presently.
Oh, what about that guy? Tell us. What do you know about him?
Oh, you're just trying to move it on from my question to you.
No, I'm not.
Which was, what was going on in here?
Uh-oh.
What about this guy?
Oh, Season.
Oh.
Oh, you want to show your face, huh?
He's here.
So what were you doing last night for 4 hours?
Wait, why don't you just ask her?
How about I ask you, buddy?
Because it's your girlfriend? Hello?
But you're my person involved.
It's pretty misogynistic of you to like just not go to your partner for information and just assume the worst.
Why do you assume that I'm assuming the worst?
Because you're confronting people.
I could have assumed that you had a party. I just wanted to know if you had a party. I just
Is
wanted to know.
that what your tone is insinuating right now, Darius? Are you that
My
insecure?
tone right now is insinuating a question. And if you're taking anything from that, then maybe you have some trauma in your life that's caused you to feel this way. Do you think?
What possible trauma would I have that would?
He's just
cause me
laughing
to
you
act
off,
this way?
Darius. He's not even taking this seriously.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm noticing it, and I just.
Do you think he's like intentionally doing it to like try to evade the
I
question?
think so. You did the same. You did the
Well,
same
no,
thing.
no,
but
no,
you're
no. It's
doing
not.
it
This
as
isn't about
clever.
me. This is about him.
No,
This is about him.
you're both dodging the question.
This is about him right now. Okay.
You know, on TikTok, there's a trend where they do phone trains now. So
we talked about how
So you
you messaged Sushi last night that she got banned on TikTok.
Wait, did she?
Why do you know that?
Yeah, how do you know that?
You messaged her while we were talking, and she checked.
Are you doing like a thing where you're like, oh yeah, like me and her were fucking and I saw you text her? Like, is that what you're trying to do to me right now? Or are you doing like a...
It's kind of what it sounds like. That's what I heard.
That's what I'm fucking hearing from Session right now.
Oh.
I know, that's tooting my fucking horn. Don't do that. Don't do that. So anyway, what was the topic of conversation? I'd love to know.
I don't think she wants those details out there.
Oh.
Ooh.
Here's the thing. This is like, I don't even know if this is like a half joke or not even a joke anymore. 'Cause, like, I was a joke at first, but now I'm actually, now I'm genuinely curious. Now I actually am curious. Maybe I shall ask. Maybe I shall ask.
Maybe you should.
Do you guys do that often with females in this Discord?
Do what?
Just have them in here with you too.
First of all, I was just doing my emails, and then people started popping in. I forgot I didn't leave Discord for the night, okay?
Yeah.
I'm not normally in here. People can tell, because the chat was open. You could see I'm not normally in here. Okay?
Even...
What?
I would need you to mute the stream.
What?
What does that mean?
I'm gonna need you to mute the stream.
What is happening?
Okay, hold on. Stream. Okay, we're unmuted. We're unmuted. I don't know anything about any of that.
You don't know anything?
I don't know what is going on with that. Go back to talking to Sejin, okay? Talk to him.
Are you having it?
No. Talk to Sejin. He wants to
Why
chat.
are we playing Tom and Jerry, Steve?
I don't.
Why are we playing Tom and Jerry?
I don't know. I don't know
what is
I don't know what that is. I don't know what that's all about, or what you're even referencing right now. I'm not even sure what you're talking about.
Intriguing.
Yeah. So talk to Sejin.
I already know all about Sejin.
Ooh.
I'm just noticing him fumble.
Yeah, but he knows all
Who's that?
about
Oh,
Sejin.
Tabor. I thought it was Sushia. That would have been lit.
Would have
You
been.
think that would have been lit?
I was just a drama whore.
That would not have been lit.
What would happen if Sushi joined right now? You would just both leave. Isn't that what you always do?
Not anymore.
Nah, they'd spurg out for like 30 minutes for attention.
Daddy's got new Doc Martens.
Tabor, are you sick?
Yeah, I have a sinus infection.
Oh my god, he's got COVID. 1,000,000%.
I tested. I do not.
Test D's.
What's your spring training, Tabor?
Go back to the drama. I didn't come here to talk. I came here to listen to the muted sections.
Why this little Toho guy is in here? I think
He's a tier 5 sub. He's bought his way into the drama. He's got a right to
that's
be here.
crazy. He could be recording this. He seems like he seems like this is like a cum fest for you though. That'd be like fun. You're like it's tier 4, tier 5. Holy shit!
Dude,
And
I
then
got
you're,
the
like,
quick
in the
shot launch
Discord,
plugged in right now. You have no idea.
like a combo is muted. That's probably like shit, dude. Like that's the thing I know. Not the chatters don't know that.
Got the Astro Glide all over it.
Damn.
I can see that. I can see that. But like, what's talk? I'm assuming we're not gonna have this conversation then, because I'm very curious. I'm very curious, but maybe my curiosity is gonna have to kill something. Is the cat is what it is. Curiosity killed the cat.
Yeah, ask Sejin. He seems like he's the man with the plan. He knows what's going on.
No.
What do you mean, no? Are you afraid of the truth?
Do you know what a phone train is?
A phone train? Do you mean like when you play the game telephone?
Nah, it's when you have a train on a girl, but through the phone. So you do like Discord e-sex where she's like moaning and you're like moaning as well. But
Okay, hold up. Stop. No. I'm putting no, that did not happen.
She's
Relax.
climaxing, and as he's climaxing, you give her to the next guy in the phone and or Discord channel. It happens in a lot of fetish Discords.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, a lot of women in Discord unironically like to be used like that. It's something like I'm like the flyest guy in those Discords, so I like it. I'm like the cool. Like all of them are weird as fuck, but I'm like I'm not weird. I'm just fucking fly as shit. But they're it's fun. It's an interesting time.
Okay. Cool. Good to know.
I'll invite you to one, dude. It'll be sick.
Yeah, just let me know when the next one's going on, and I'll definitely join.
Or maybe we'll have to delete those messages after, huh?
What do you mean by that? Why would you do that?
Steven.
I don't know what. You gotta talk to Sejin, dude.
Why me? No, stop.
What do you know that I don't know?
I think no, we can talk about anything you probably don't know.
Oh, so they talked about something. That's what that means, right? They talked about something. What did they talk about?
Is it something deep? Is
No.
it something interesting?
I just don't know anything about Susha, so she was catching up me on how she met Steven and how she met you.
How many people do you usually do that with that are of the male gender in this Discord?
Yikes. Not a good look.
I can't think of one, I'll tell you that much, because I look at this Discord when Steven goes off, because I think maybe I'd pop in, and I don't see you. But I see female in there. She's vulnerable. She just got out of a relationship. You're like a cool quasi guy. You talk to the D-Man. The D-Man, he's cool. She comes into the Discord.
Are you guys still together?
I don't know why you're on my dick asking questions right now. When you're in the hot seat, that's really weird how you turn it around, huh?
You need to ask a question that's on everybody's mind since the breakup. Is the video still up on Pornhub?
Yeah, they're all up.
Jesus, wow, Sejin knows a lot here. Darius, what the fuck is going on?
He's a lore master of Susha and Darius.
A lot more than just the knowing.
More than the
Sejin, just fucking cough it up.
I don't know what you're asking me. Ask a question.
Like I can't intimidate. I don't know how to verbally intimidate you, but I physically can intimidate you right now with like my finger movements and stuff along those lines. So I don't know how to do this over the phone. Like how do I strike fear in you?
Finger movement. Sorry, can you elaborate? What do you mean by finger movements?
Like you give like someone like you make a fist, you ball a fist at him and wag it or some shit. You know what I mean?
Are you threatening me?
I'm not threatening you. I'm just trying to intimidate you.
What's the difference?
So I'm not getting anything out of you in the next. I feel like we're gonna do this for 30 minutes and I can't.
Good question.
Maybe you guys are destined to do this dance forever, like the Joker and
Am I
Batman.
vulnerable because I'm a female, says Straighterade? I bet Sejin was real interested in Straighterade. I've seen Sejin in here talk to Straighterade more than I've seen him talk to anyone else, actually. And that's a female. So just thinking about it, Sejin, I just don't think you're as interested in her as a person as much as you kind of let on a little bit ago.
What? Okay, I don't understand that sentence. Say it again.
I think you saw a vulnerable female in Discord and you thought, time to use
Why?
my
What makes Sushia? We'll start with Sushia and then we'll just straight right after. Why makes Sushia vulnerable?
That she recently got out of a relationship. She's.
I don't think she has.
You
Ooh,
don't think she's...
Darius getting called the fuck out. Are you on a fake breakup right now?
We're on that little dude. So you're gonna turn it on me, huh? After you wouldn't say it, you haven't said a drop of anything, and now you're doing it again.
I'm just saying.
And again, what's happening
Sejin is
now,
accusing you of drama farming.
I've gotten absolutely nothing, but every time you guys are like, Darius, and I want to give it because I'm like, okay, I feel like it should be reciprocated, but I'm not getting anything. Therefore, I don't give. So, your answer is no comment.
Wow.
The answer is fake drama. Good job. Next question, please.
Says you.
Alright.
You, he says.
What makes Straighterade vulnerable? Are you just assuming that she's vulnerable because she's a woman?
I didn't say she was vulnerable.
Well, you said that I went in because there's a vulnerable woman. You're kind of assuming that I only go after vulnerable women there.
Well, I'm talking about Sushi.
Okay. Well, we have determined that she's not. Hello. Who's
She's
this?
about to turn on camera. No way. Why'd you do that?
What up, Aaron?
Dude, you scared her off. Fuck you, dude. God, dude, I hate you even more now. Like you made yourself worse of a character to me the last 3 days than ever.
Ooh. What?
Wait, Darius, did he scare me off? Or am I vulnerable?
Session
or
did.
did he
Session
prey
did. It's
upon
really
me?
weird.
I know, but you were saying that he was preying upon me because I'm vulnerable, but now he is scaring me off. Which is it?
Oh, well, now he's getting called out, so now he's super uncomfortable. So now he's
Wait, called out for what? What did he do?
Yeah, what's he getting called out for? Darius?
This is going too long. Can we just talk to little Toho?
Oh, running away like
No,
a
I'm
little
not
scared
running away.
boy.
You guys never entered. You guys are just how can I flip this on the D guy? And it's not Destiny this time. So, little Toho, talk to that guy.
No,
Wait, flip?
don't worry about me. I'm just chilling.
He's chilling.
Come on, Darius, speak up.
Ooh.
Say something with your chest out. Puff up your chest.
Nothing's
Say
actually
something.
gonna happen. No,
Come on!
Nothing's actually
Oh my
gonna happen. 'Cause
God.
Steven's
Wave your
not gonna
fingers,
say
bro.
Jack
Wave
Butt,
them.
and you're not gonna say Jack Butt. So when you both aren't gonna say Jack Butt, I have nothing to build off of.
Wait, are you talking to
Wait,
me?
say it about
Yes,
what?
both of you.
I'm not doing anything. I'm just chilling.
No, I asked a question. and
What'd you
didn't
ask?
answer it. We were muted, and we asked about it. And you didn't answer.
I don't know
it,
anything
and
about that. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't even know what
You're literally gapping. Why are you lying to me? Why are
I
you
don't
lying
know
to
what that
me?
means.
Why are you lying? Why are you fibbing? Why you can't just say no? You're literally laughing.
I'm not doing anything right now. I just want to play factory. I just want to build my factory, man.
God damn it. God damn it. You're fucking funny.
Wow, guys. Productive call. Well,
You got everything off your chest there, Darius?
Darius, this guy's poking you and prodding you, dude. Hard. Are you okay with that?
How are you gonna let Book Smarts 2.0 poke and prod you like that? Come on, dog. Thought you were half black.
Oof. He might be half black, but he's 100%
Sejun
bitch.
Damn. Come on, nigga, let's go.
Yeah, go. Go get him, Darius.
Sejun is giving you the pass to be mean.
Kicking me while I'm down.
What?
What? What's up?
Sejun is giving you a pass to be mean. You should take it.
Me be mean to Session?
Say something.
To let it all out.
I'm not gonna fucking be mean to. What am I gonna say to him? I don't know what the fuck to say to him. I'm just trying to ask a fucking question and get an answer. What do you want me to? What do you want to say?
Nah, you came in here hot making accusations. Don't back down now. Come on.
What accusation did I make?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
First, you made the accusation about Destiny, and now you're accusing me of preying on your girlfriend. Come on, let's go.
Hey, it's my complicated situation. It's not my girlfriend.
Oh, she's not your girlfriend.
No. I think I'm saying too much. It's getting too on me now, and I have to turn the tables, but I don't know how to turn the tables. I'm out of moves, and there's too many eyeballs now. There's too many people in the voice call. So
well, you know what? You came in here unprepared. You came out in here with loose accusations.
I came here prepared, but then you guys said Stonewall, and this is your fucking thing. This is your fucking thing. So I have to think about a way to combat that. So let me think of a way to combat that, and then I'll be back in here.
You're trapped in my Mangekyo Sharingan. That's right. Weeb reference just for you, buddy.
Jesus Christ. Darius, holy shit. You're actually done.
Are you going to let him out-weeb you like that, Darius?
Darius, it's over for you. Do you understand?
Darius.
I thought that you knew a lot about Naruto, but you don't. You don't know anything. You just got destroyed.
Darius literally jacks off to VR like weeaboo anime girls.
Oh.
Like he's a bigger weeb.
Yeah, but apparently it's not enough. He didn't even have a counter jutsu thing.
Because this is real life, Steve.
He's done.
This isn't anime anymore. This is my life, and I can't play these games anymore, Steve. That's why.
Wait, did he leave?
Is he on the depressive part of a manic depressive episode?
No, he just unheroed.
It's just cosplaying Sasuke.
Jesus,
he escaped into the night.
So.
Oh yeah, what's up? Tier 5 Colin, dude. What do you got for us?
Yeah, so the quick shot launch is, I would say, the entry level sex toy for a man.
Okay.
But if you want to upgrade, I'm sorry, we don't have to do this. If you guys want to keep talking.
Wait, I don't know. They didn't. It was fake drama. They don't want to do anything. Oh, Lycan here is a sex toy expert.
What's the toy?
Yeah?
I imagine he probably is. It just seems like something he'd be an expert in.
What is the toy you're referring to?
It's called the Quick Shot, dude.
Yeah, bro. It's the Quick Shot Launch.
The Quick Shot Launch?
Yeah, it's by Fleshlight. So that's the entry level one. You plug it into the wall, throw some Astroglide on your
dick,
just go to town.
Is it a master? Oh, it's a motorized masturbator. Nice.
Yeah. So that's the entry level. And then once you use that for a year, then you can upgrade to the Handy. And that is like end game. Okay.
Wait, what's the cleaning time on this?
He's
like, my God. Like
cleaning
30
time?
seconds? Okay. Because it just takes launches, which are quite small. And you can just take them out. You can turn them inside out. You run them under
mine
hot
aren't
water.
small, but...
Okay. Well, you dumb fuck. But yeah, that was... I had two quick things. That was the second quick thing.
Okay. And
then I had a longer thing.
What was a longer
after
thing?
This.
What?
Well, it's not really that, like... It's not as memey. So now I don't know if I want to bring it up.
Well...
Bring it up. Just say it.
You might as well. Yeah, fucking go. Yeah, you're a tier 5. This is your calling. Do it. Go. You pay money for this. You don't want to regret it. When you're on your deathbed, you're not going to be thinking, I regret all the questions I asked Destiny. You're going to be thinking of all the questions you didn't ask me. Okay? So.
I'll be back. I'm a fucking T5. I'll be back. Okay?
Okay.
I got the month. I got the rest of the month to come back.
Can I ask you how much that flashlight was?
The quick shot launch?
Yeah. How much does it cost to launch?
200.
I think it's
Nice.
it's like 200, something like that.
Holy shit.
Holy shit,
But
you're
then I bought,
rolling in
like-
it. This $80 a month sub, $200 just to do what your hand could do. Or apparently
$200?
couldn't
No,
do.
no. Hold on.
No.
$200 to do what his hand could do. He's not replacing a hand. If he was replacing his hand, it'd be a huge waste of money. He's replacing a woman. Okay, that's a lifetime savings right there.
I'm replacing a woman with another woman that has no fucking gag reflex. Okay,
Jesus
this is
Christ.
like you don't understand. This thing is, dog. We're in 2023.
Wait, you're a tier 5 sub. Do you even have a woman to replace?
What do you,
I have a wife
excuse me?
actually.
Yeah, he's got a
Nice.
wife.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm in the process of getting divorced, but that doesn't matter.
Okay, yeah.
I have a wife.
He doesn't
so-
need his wife. He's got his new girlfriend, the QS.
Exactly.
Okay.
Literally replacing.
There's a lot of that happening in this chat room tonight.
Wait, hold
oh,
on.
fuck,
I
dude.
found the star system mirror. I thought that this is all randomly generated. Are these all preset? Black mirror. Is this the best one I can find? Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
When are you gonna be done, Destiny?
Dude, I'm so close. You don't even understand, okay?
No, I don't. So that's why. Why don't you give me a timetable?
No, you wouldn't understand. That's what I meant. Not you don't understand. You couldn't understand.
Wait, I'm really curious. Did you file for divorce before or after you became a tier 5 sub?
Before.
Okay.
yeah. I didn't. We didn't file. Oh my god, it's a long story. But yeah, no.
I'm sure.
Are you replacing your emotional intimacy with a relationship with Destiny?
I hope so. God.
Ooh. I might be.
Do you feel that your life is being harmed by that investment in a parasocial relationship?
Bro, why are you asking this to go ask that to a tier 1 sub? Damn, this guy's
No,
giving me
it's all
$80 a month. I don't need this guy
It's
fucking
all
scared
good.
away. Jesus.
You don't need this heat on this product.
Elaborate. No. Like, and elaborate. Like, which parasocial relationship in particular? Like the one with my wife, or just in general, or?
Oh no. I'm saying you've lost this relationship with your wife under whatever circumstances. I was just curious if engaging with Steven in this way is a coping mechanism, and if you're potentially in the vast hole filled by the woman that is now gone.
No. I'm good. Like I still, no, we're basically best friends still. We still live together. We have to finish out our lease.
Aww.
We might even end up back together. Fuck if we can't find anybody better.
Aww.
Yeah, we both just turned 30.
Sounds like true love.
Yeah, it does actually.
It actually fucking does.
Yeah.
We've been together for like almost 7 years, 7.5.
That's
Yeah.
a significant investment. Not that sunk cost is a good reason for staying. in a
Wait, how old are you?
relationship,
Are you older than 29?
I just turned 30 like 2 weeks ago.
Okay, you're good.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday. Actually, your voice, you sound like Frosty if you said happy birthday like that.
Does he?
Who, me? Happy birthday?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. You ever seen Frosty the Snowman?
Fresh and fit going over Andrew Tate stuff?
feel
Sorry,
like I have, but I
the
don't
chat didn't want any more
remember
red
him.
pill shit, so we're
That
not doing
way?
that.
No.
Sorry.
Never mind.
Isn't Frosty the Snowman's happy birthday kind of Kermit the Froggy?
No, just happy birthday, something like that. But the more cheerful voice, and this guy has a cheerful voice.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I do have a cheerful voice. Thank you.
Yeah, you do.
I have a very, yeah. Some people say I have a fat voice. It's not wrong. I have a white voice.
And your name is Tojo. Are you, what are you doing there?
That's, so my, okay, long story, but I'll make it quick. The reason why I picked Tojo is because my dad had a brother. His nickname was Tojo. And I never met him, but my dad used to tell me stories about him, about how he went to jail and how he was a badass and he beat people up and might have killed people. I don't even know. But yeah, I thought he was cool when I was growing up during the G Unit days, and I made myself Little Tojo, and it just stuck.
Young thug, get it, brother.
Jesus.
True. Okay, the last thing I wanted to ask is, what does it take to get like perms to join?
You got to be a streamer, okay?
Okay, so is that literally it? I just have to like make a YouTube channel?
No, the reality is you need to be something that I think will contribute regularly, and I don't mind hopping in the channel anytime. And right now it's locked to streamers or personal friends. That's what it really means. So if I give it to you, I'm gonna have to start giving it to every fucking tier 5, okay?
Well, but I'm a tier 5 that has secret information.
What secret information?
Oh, when you muted.
None of that was even true. Okay, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So Vegan Gains gets fucking perms.
Yeah, he's a YouTuber. Okay, and he's a little crazy.
All right. Well, oh, he's back.
Wait, before Darius.
Don't deny reality, Steven. You're not gonna do it to me.
You're not. I don't know what you're talking about. Obviously, if what you're saying has happened, you wouldn't have proof of it happening, so it couldn't have happened.
Yeah, you're not in a genjutsu.
I'm just saying, it's what you're saying is impossible. You're asking me the question, like, did you see the Invisible Man? Like, well, the answer can never be yes to that. So
I get what's going on. You're intentionally getting me going. You're intentionally doing this because what you want is you want me to box you. You want me to do a boxing match at the next TwitchCon thing. That's what you're trying to do right now. And you're trying to get me riled up. So I'm like, I'm going to kick this guy's ass. But you're not going to do it, Steve. You're not going to fucking trigger me. You're not going to trigger me. I'm going to be my own person and have my own reality that is true.
Okay. And I support you in that, okay?
You don't, because you're lying now.
You're assuming I'm lying, okay?
Why are you doing that?
You're just assuming. You're making a lot of assumptions right now, okay?
This is a based way of living, Steve. What you've done is you've made it so that way you know about everything that's objectively true. So that way, when you lie, it seems like such a flabbergasting, like crazy thing. Like, this guy looks into a lot of stuff. Why would he ever lie? He loves the truth.
Damn, you should talk to Mr. Girl about that.
You are fibbing. I might talk to him about that, because that should be quoted onto his hate piece for you.
Yeah,
because that's freaking true.
Okay,
because you're lying right now, and you know it.
Jeez.
How would you know if he's lying? How would you know in the first place what you're accusing him of?
You're asking me to disclose information that could show out my weapon, and I will not show you my...
Well, the only way you could accuse him is if you're in contact with the person, right?
I've already seen your weapon. It's on Pornhub.
Ooh.
What do you expect when you do those bits, Tabor?
Yeah,
what
Tabor. What do you expect?
It's just a quip.
Sucked.
Ooh.
So do y'all want to talk
Do that
about,
on the football.
Oh, hi, Pep.
and art? Hey.
Who's
Is
that?
this? Wait, is this the Pep that I recognize from a different stream?
Probably not. Maybe. I don't know.
Well, what Pep do you recognize from a different stream?
I don't want to say it.
Then the answer is probably no.
I think it is. It is her. Oh, I'm getting confirmation. It is her. Okay.
Wait, from
interesting.
what stream?
Yeah.
Can you mute for a second?
Well, oh, hold on.
I just don't want to say it. Interesting.
Okay, we're done. I'm unmuted. Stop. Okay,
Unmuted.
fucking weirdo.
Unmuted.
You're so
Just
fucking weird,
found it
dude.
interesting.
Jesus
Just found
God,
it
you're so
interesting.
weird.
Okay.
You have
It's just
problems.
interesting.
You have
It's
problems.
interesting to me.
It's not
That is
that
actually
interesting.
weird. That is actually weird. Nobody knew that but you. Like,
No, yeah, because
It
he's
is, yeah.
obsessed.
I am.
yeah, that is. I
am.
actually went on. Never mind.
And even
But
even Darius
I
was.
didn't know that. So that's fucking
Yeah.
I'm obsessed. I admit it.
I know. Okay, that's fine.
You
You
want me to
admit
deny it?
Yeah.
I'm not denying it.
Okay.
You just keep
Oh my
saying it over and over again, and I
Do you
agree.
do you have other hobbies? Like outside
Yeah.
of football? Like what do you do? You did
I
dog
open
training. right?
Pokemon cards and dog train.
Oh,
And
are
I
there-
have a wife and kid.
Ooh.
Okay, then how do you have time for that other shit that you were doing then, dude?
Like
Like,
to listen, to put a headphone in and listen to streams? What are you
you don't
talking
talk to your
about?
wife at night? Like in bed?
Yeah.
Do you talk
There's
to her
a
about
lot
that?
of time during the day, brother.
You
A
talk to her
lot of
about that?
workouts. There's a lot of rehab.
Rehab? Are you recovering? I don't know what's going on right now.
Like physical rehab. I play football, you dipshit.
Oh.
Okay, so anyways,
Yeah, what's up?
AI and art.
I'm
Do
the
you wanna
obsessed
talk about
one,
that?
says the fucking meat watcher of Sejin.
Can we just?
I'm obsessed.
Wait, is this literal meat watching?
Yeah.
Sounds like it.
Well, no, it's. I mean, just okay. Pep, what's up? You do art sometimes, and you want to talk about artificial intelligence and art.
Yes. Okay. I think it's a really interesting subject because art in itself is kind of subjective, but as like a society, we've kind of set parameters for what we do and don't consider art, and that's being kind of hotly debated with the AI versus art thing, and then also the ethics of the current AI art generators are being hugely debated at the moment too. And I have strong opinions on both of those things. And do you know what? So what do you know about like what's going on with like AI and art right now?
You know, I kind of stand in the periphery, and I just know everything because that's just my job. So yeah, what do you want me to say?
No, I was just curious if you had like formed an opinion going into this or not, whether
My opinion is that some kind of artist is probably always going to exist in the future. That might just mean literally people that know how to create art for AI things to duplicate. And there might be some very novel forms of art that some artists will still be required to create. My thing is that like once certain technology is kind of like out of the bag, it's never going back in.
Exactly.
Yeah. So AI artists need to, if you're smart, instead of fighting against the rising tide of what will become probably a wave of AI art, you probably need to start figuring out what is your business model going to look like in a post AI art world. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like AI as a technology is really, really cool, and I feel like it can be really, really helpful for artists. I feel like we already have some art-based tools that use AI, like content-aware things in Photoshop, things like that. Those are all like AI-based kind of things. And I hope that
While that's
AI
true,
art-
just to qualify, while that's true, nobody's using content-aware to like do like creative pieces.
create entire paintings.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's the problem that a lot of artists have with it. I think there's like this huge division. The two main sides are people being like, get fucked, artists, get a real job. Today I saw that some people were calling people art cells or draw cells, which is really funny to me.
Draw cells. That's fucking legendary. Okay.
Yeah. And then there's the other side that's kind of the other pole is artists being like, all AI art is bad and it's terrible, which I also don't agree with. I think that AI can be like a super useful tool for like doing concept work and things like that, and generating things that like, I feel like it's like a more functional Google image search basically. But because I feel like it's a more functional Google image search, I don't really want to qualify the final product of that as art unless a human also touches it. And that's been a hugely debated thing. People are basically like, people are like, oh, artists don't think AI art is real because it's like faster and easier, and I completely disagree with that characterization of stuff. But now there are people calling themselves like prompt artists and prompt engineers, which is like
Is that like people that know like how to prompt the AI things in order to get certain things out of them?
Yeah.
My favorite thing to
Yeah.
do, I'm so sorry if you've ever had someone do this to you and trigger the fuck out of you, but my favorite thing to do is whenever people post art on Twitter now, the best response is to say like, oh my God, that's like such a great piece. Like what prompt did you use? It triggers the fuck out of people.
Yeah, I was gonna talk about that as like one of the things that's like kind of been irritating as fuck. That they're like artists. There was somebody who got banned. There's an artist who got banned from a subreddit the other day.
I saw
Although
that.
the mod who did that banning was like really stupid, absolutely stupid. It did not look like AI art, and that was kind of ridiculous. But there are a lot of people being like, "Oh no, you didn't paint this," or "Oh, this isn't a photo. You used AI to do this," and that's kind of irritating. So there are like a bunch of like small unforeseen consequences like that that have been popping up and are interesting. But the main thing that I wanted to talk about is there are a bunch of people who are like, this is fine, this is moral, this is legal, that means it's great, and we should all be creating AI art, and artists can just suck it if they think it's unethical. But the issue is that all of the major services that do generate AI art were all using a database that was meant for research purposes, and so they didn't differentiate between copyrighted works and non-copyrighted works. So
yeah, I've heard
just,
this argument. I think of all the arguments related to AI art, this is literally the least compelling one to me. I think the copyright
Wait, really?
argument, yeah, I think it's super ridiculous.
Why?
What I would need to know is
that people just took people's art and are now generating a profit from it without like.
Yeah, the argument that would have to be made to me is what is meaningfully different from a computer copying AI art for inspiration versus a human copying art for inspiration? Because humans train off of copyrighted things. Go ahead.
Okay, that's a huge. That's one of the main discussions I've been having recently. And okay, people are like, oh, AI learns the same way humans do. Absolutely not. AI learns by like. Basically, this is going to be a super hyper oversimplification of it. When a human learns how to draw like a figure, they're like, okay, normally people have a head, 2 arms. Generally they have 2 arms and 10 fingers. Da 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 da. AI goes, normally when people describe an image this way, this is what it looks like. And normally, an image like this, there are like hands on a figure. And normally, where there are hands, there are fingers. And normally, where there's a finger, usually there's another finger next to it. And that's why you end up with like all these weird ass like 10-fingered AI things, because it's basically just structured on when you see this thing with this description, this is how it looks.
Sure.
And so that's very different from how humans learn. And number 2, even if it did learn in the same way humans did, basically it's not generating art in the same way a human would. Because like basically, okay, so do you think photocopiers are artists? Do they create art?
A photocopier? No.
Yeah. Okay. And why is that? It's because it's just reproducing.
Yeah, you're literally reproducing the same thing.
Yeah, that's all AI art is doing, just on a large scale. It's not.
Yeah, but I would argue that's essentially what humans do.
No, not at all. So humans, whenever they draw something, it's going to be filtered not through just what references that they're using and what they've learned from. It's going to be filtered through their own personal tastes, their muscle memory, their preferences, how they see the world.
So if you want, we can start listing these things out one at a time, but I think every single one of these things will apply to any sufficiently complicated AI. Yeah. So when you say
absolutely not. Well, eventually, I do think.
Well, do you want to go through before we hop from topic? Do you want to go through each of those things one at a time? And I think you can draw like a direct parallel to how. Yeah. So what is the difference you think between what an AI draws from versus what a human intelligence draws from?
I think a human intelligence draws from like basically their whole life experience contributes to how they're going to draw something.
Yeah. So I mean, AIs have shorter lifespans, but I mean they can be accelerated. They could be
but they're only referencing other images. They're not referencing.
Can a blind person
beyond that?
Could a blind person draw something?
Yeah.
No.
But they'd be using.
Wait.
What are you talking about? There's blind artists.
No. I mean a real blind person, not like my vision is 10/75 in my late life or whatever. An actual blind person, they could like maybe move their hands on a piece of paper and do something like cute, but they're not drawing anything. Well. They're not drawing anything meaningful because they have no references to draw from, right?
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. But, so humans reference images that they know, the same way I would say any sufficiently complex AI that's capturing images it knows.
So then I would posit that this AI, none of the current AI are sufficiently complicated enough to reference images in the same way humans do, because they're only referencing from other art, not from like all the visual input humans get their whole entire life. Yeah,
but I mean like, hold on, I'm just writing these down. So I don't believe that you believe that argument. And I'll say this. So your argument is that humans aren't just referencing art, they're also referencing all of the data input they've had throughout their entire life. If I were to show you an AI and train it on a data set, but I were also to add a data set of here is 40 years of lived human life, and then I were to feed it that data, you probably wouldn't say that, okay, now it's okay, right? You'd say, okay, well, hold on, it's something different. That'd be my guess. Or you can address that argument.
I do think that if AI was sentient, if we got to a point where AI was sentient, I would consider what it would generate art, but currently it's not.
Well, do we need sentience for art generation here? I don't know. Well, because now we've moved on to something way different, but yeah, go ahead.
Well, I think that I think what art is generally is it's something filtered through a human and then created. That's why we don't that's why copiers, we don't really trust, we don't say photocopiers are art.
I think that, well, no, that fails on 2 points. Because a photocopier can be somebody that is filtered through a human. A literally person goes in and photocopies something that's from a human.
But the photocopier isn't the artist. We don't consider that the artist.
Yeah, but we wouldn't consider the artist using a photocopier an artist either, right? If they weren't modifying the image, right?
Yeah, no. But a photocopier reproducing like actual art that we consider art, even though it's producing art, we don't consider it the artist.
When you say, I'm sorry, hold on, let me get my attention. When you say photocopier, are you referring to the machine or the person?
The machine.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought photocopier, like a person that's going to photocopy. Okay, you're right.
No.
Yeah, a photocopier, the actual thing, is we probably wouldn't consider an artist. Sure.
Yeah.
But that's because it's literally just copy pasting an image one to one, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's basically, AI is just doing that on a really sufficiently complex, granular, large scale.
But I would argue that that's
filtering.
how isn't that how humans learn art though?
No, it's different. Well, no, not at all. Like I said, humans don't just learn art by being like, hey, normally when I see this, this is next to it. You learn things like cast light does this. You learn bodies have these muscles and bones in them. You learn that certain colors punch up other colors, that like gray can look like a different color next to other things. AI is just like taking what it's seen and learning none of the depth behind it.
I disagree, but I don't have the art background. I can tell you that for music, this is exactly how music is learned. When you become a really good
music is way more mathematical, and that makes
no,
sense.
No. It's not mathematical. If you're a really good musician, one of the things you'll do, at least for jazz, is you will get recordings of old jazz players. You will go into a practice room and you will transcribe their solo. You will be able to learn how to play every single note exactly as they play it. And for really cool licks, you might learn those exact same licks in literally all 12 keys. You'll learn exactly the songs, you'll be able to play it from memory, and then you'll learn certain licks in all of the keys so you can apply them wherever. And then when you go to solo in your own performances, what you're doing is you're taking an amalgamation of all of the transcriptions and all the things you've learned, and then you're applying that to create like new pieces. And that's where like the quote unquote human innovation comes from. But that innovation...
But it's not just, I feel like I disagree with that. I feel like it's not just the stuff that you've copied from other artists. It's probably songs that you've heard too, but haven't taken the time to like learn and copy down, but those have influenced your taste.
Yeah, they do, but I'm just saying that at the end of the day, the music that you're generating as a person is a sophisticated combination of all of the things that have influenced you up to that point, essentially.
That's exactly what I'm saying about art.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that if you feed all of this information into a machine, if it's sufficiently complicated, that process will be the same for a machine as it would be for a person.
Yeah, and what I'm saying is we're not at that stage yet. They're only doing like copying the sheet music essentially. They're not feeding any other.
Well, but they're not copying the sheet music. They're making new, innovative pieces of art.
No, they're not. They're cutting out pieces of the sheet music, piecing them together.
No, that's just not true.
Absolutely, that's literally how it works.
I can show you pieces of AI art that have never been drawn before. You might be able to figure out where some people, but it's not.
But you're taking components and pieces. They wouldn't be able to be generated without the database of art that already exists.
Yeah, but that's true for humans as well. Just look at something as complicated as a movie. When we say
humans aren't just taking directly from those things and then like applying that to a new thing.
They literally are. I bet it.
No, they're not. They're filtering it through their own experiences, which is a huge facet of I think what makes it art versus just a generative thing.
I don't have the background in art, and I'm going to say even without that background, I guarantee you that you can go through paintings of artists and see verbatim like, oh, this thing was like lifted exactly. Because I know what happens in film. The Akira slide on like a motorcycle, that like shot has been copied. There's a lot of things from Jackie Chan and Bruce Lee that get copied.
Absolutely.
Like the shots get copied verbatim. Not even like
something.
Yeah.
Wait. But to copy something one to one, that usually takes like a lot of either inherent skill in that same category or in that arena of whatever they're illustrating. Like if it's like, I don't know, like faces, then being good at portrait work. Or if it's like anime, understanding anime. If you're directly trying to copy them out, this is something that they teach in art school. You reproduce master artists' work and stuff like that. To get it to be exactly that usually takes effort, and you have to learn how to do it. And during that process, like you're integrating those things into your own skill set. You're not just like, okay, here's this, I'm gonna copy that. Just like you were talking about the music. It's not just copying a thing wholesale. And if it is exactly the same, it's usually because it took a lot of learning and effort to get it exactly the same. And they're also
when you reference the learning and effort thing, that feels like it's going into the argument of like, I don't like that AIs learn so quickly. Like I understand it takes human learning and effort to do it.
No, I don't care about how fast it is or how slow it is. I think that there is a process to it, and that process is necessary to like filter it through a person's, the way they see the world, the way they've taken in data all their life, and the way they're expressing that data, I think is vastly different from how a machine does it, basically.
Okay. I don't believe it's meaningfully different, but I don't know if it feels like the same process to me. I feel like we make human learning sound more complicated than I think it actually is. where I think a lot of human learning is literally you go by reference. Once you've built up a sufficient database of reference inside of your own mind, you might be able to tweak some things differently or combine things in innovative ways, and that's kind of where new art comes from. It's not like a genuinely inspired, like here's a brand new thing process. It's by yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. But basically, if that was the case, then if like 3 people all learned from the same references, do you think they would all create exactly the same thing?
Exactly the same thing? No, I don't think so.
And why not?
Well, because they don't have the exact same references. They're gonna have like different lives, and so they've probably seen different things. Yeah, but I mean the exact same thing can be said for AI. I could feed it a different like.
No. Because the AI is not being fed like experiences, like it's literally just being fed art and photos and things like that. It's not being fed like, oh, hey, I like sunsets, or I really like something.
Yeah,
like,
but these are all like things that you could like toggle for the AI, right? You could feed it more pictures of sunsets if you want. Like the only difference between those three.
But nobody has.
But if they did, you probably still wouldn't be okay with it.
No, I think if it got to the point where AI, like I said, if AI was sentient, it had its own distinctive
well, hold on.
preferences
Now
and
sentient is
that it filtered those things through.
When you say is it sentient, you're adding a whole other thing that's not related to this, right?
I feel like, I feel like it is deeply related to it because I feel like, okay, maybe not. Maybe, I guess it's how you define sentience. Can something have experiences and have opinions and preferences on something without being sentient?
Can something have a preference without being sentient? Well, we're going to get it really hardcore into like how do we define preference is going to be difficult.
Yeah, I was wondering.
But I'm just saying that like if you took 3 humans and you put all of them next to each other and you asked them to like generate art, the only difference is going to be the references they've seen in their life, and I guess some biological differences. But like assuming that if you took
those
3
references and experiences,
but
if
if
that's what makes it that.
But if you took 3 humans that were all genetically the exact same and you gave them the exact same lives, and then you had all 3 of them start to produce art, that art would be exactly the same 100%. There'd be no difference.
Yeah, but that's just because of that's still art because it's still being processed through them. It's just incidental that it's different.
No, I'd say it wouldn't be different. It'd be the same. But then I'd say for
it's just incidental that it's not different.
Yeah, but then I'd say for the ML data sets, all we would need to do is feed it like different data from another ML thing, and then we would get different art. But it would be the same thing as a human society. You're just giving it a different data set to go by.
I don't think so because I don't think that we can give sufficiently like complex enough data sets that could be the equivalent of like human preferences and how those preferences impact how humans generate art.
It's not going to be the equivalent, but now we've entered like a weird tautological world where it's like, well, the only thing that's art is stuff that has human preferences. In which case, if that's how you define art, well, of course I'm going to agree with you because you've defined it as such with human preferences.
That's how most people define art.
Well, but then this whole conversation is.
That's why we don't.
But then the whole conversation is meaningless. Right.
Yes, neat.
If you define, wait, hold on, stop. Oh God, before this gets into some weird fucking philosophical ways.
No,
but I'm just gonna say real quick, if you define art as like art is a thing that has come from human preferences, well then by definition, AI art will never be art because it can't come from human preferences, right?
I think that's why I feel like maybe I should budge a little bit on whether it's from a human. I do think maybe from someone sentient, I guess.
Yes, someone who has intentions about the world and has a type of rationality that machines and animals don't have. Like, remember that discussion you had with vegan gains?
No.
About the difference between animals and humans?
Yeah, but this doesn't work because while we might be able to measure like a lack of certain types of sentiences in animals, there's no reason to think that we couldn't create that in a machine. But I don't know if we would know if the machine.
Yeah, 100%. I agree that if we create, like, if we have advanced enough general AI that is capable of having like the concepts of like truth and falsity and whatnot, who like just has what we would call sentience, or maybe sapience would be the more technical term. Then I think that would be considered art. Like, you know, if it functions exactly like us in all ways, I mean, that's all that's really required for us to ascribe.
Sure, if that's how you want. I don't think that
any agency to make art.
Yeah, I understand. I don't think anybody on the planet defines art by like as long as it comes from a sapient creature with intentionality. But I mean, if you want to define it that way, then by definition, AIs can't create art for sure.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that is mostly how people define it because if you take the broad range of art and you look at like naive art that's literally just kind of like intentionally made to be kind of like not sophisticated and things like that, or abstract art that's like there's like Rothkos that are literally just like a big giant square of red, And it's like, yeah, that's super simple, but it's still considered art for a reason. It's
because it was made with intention.
Well,
Exactly.
when you say, hold on, oh god, we're about to get into the levels of pedantry that we're not even ready for.
Well, I have to go soon. I just
Okay,
want
yeah.
to drop by and try to amend the definition from human to like general sapient rational creature with intention.
We can amend the definition, but like that's literally what we're arguing over, right? So amending a definition, like if you want to like define something as like 1 = 1, then I'm gonna agree, of course.
Of course, but it's all a question of semantics about like how do you define art?
Wait,
like,
no, hold on.
On...
It's not just semantics. It's material. It's important, right? Do you have to be human to create art, or what is a creation of art? And you can't say like, well, if we define art as things that are
how you define art.
Well, but that's boring.
We're not looking.
No. Hold on. When I say it's boring, what I mean is it's not interesting to say, well, how do I define art? I define art as something created by a human. Oh, okay. Well, then I guess AIs can't create art. That's not an interesting conversation. You're not saying anything of meaning there, right? The deeper question. That's
like say.
No. Stop. The actual question that's being asked is, why does something need to be created by a human to be art? That's the question.
Well, yes, exactly. But then you just have the general conversation about the difference between a mere animal or like, a non-thinking thing versus a rational animal, and that's fine to have.
But these things but these are unintuitive things because animals don't typically create art at the sophistication of an AI that's been trained on human data sets. That's the problem. When humans look at art created by an animal,
also say the same thing.
Hold on. Let me finish. Hold on. When humans look at art created by an animal, right? We'll look at something. We'll go, wow, the peacock's feathers are nice, or that's like a nice nest. But intuitively, we don't have to do like a big cognitive process to figure out why it's not real art. Intuitively, we just know, oh, look at how simplistic it is. It's made by a dumb animal. But if you get an AI that's creating sophisticated fictional scenes in like neo-realist, surrealist painting styles of like science fiction things, it's much harder to look at that and go like, oh, well, that's definitely not art. Right? I think that's a much more difficult thing for people to intuitively grasp. So yeah, it demands further analysis.
I can agree with that, but I think once people understand that it's not like something that from like artistic reserves the same way a person would, and that it's more just taking little bits of what it's learned like a copy machine, I feel like people understand that more.
But
Destiny, if you were to find out that like there's this example to ask this exact question, which is like if you found out that a bunch of monkeys on typewriters had accidentally, just by pure that tiny little chance that could possibly happen, right? Shakespeare's Hamlet, would you consider that art or not? I mean, I am inclined to say no, in which case we are talking about art 1 and art 2.
Sure.
Right?
And if you want to answer that question that way, that's fine. But that's going to be a hotly debated question, right? This is another thing that's a little bit irritating about the AI art conversation is artists want to come out.
This is like a This is what.
Stop. No. We're not even in Wittgenstein. It has nothing to do with that. Stop. People want to come out in the people want to come out in the art community and go, oh no, this is not real art, this is art, when that's not even a settled question in the art community. What is art has been contentious since the first caveman drawing ever, right? The idea of what is art is incredibly contentious.
Art is a word that it has different connotations, and it's going to mean something different at different. Like for example, like this crumb on my desk could be considered art if I grew up in a society where that thing was seen to be like something so perfect and what the fuck are you talking about?
The whole point of art and everything.
For one thing,
is
you're just being. I'm just gonna.
So the crumb on your desk, that's not at all.
So it could be.
Wait, hold on. We can't mute people in the call. This shit turns into a clusterfuck. We can't do that.
I mean,
you can't just sit here and pretend like something that's not art at all and just pedantry.
I'm just saying. Just real quick.
I mean, if
you're just changing the definition because it's convenient for you. You can't just choose something that's arbitrary and say in another society, well, this is entirely arbitrary and I could define this as art. When we're talking about art, we're talking about things that people enjoy, like books or film, or things like identifications for different companies. You can't just say, oh, it's a crumb, we can change it. All that matters is what it's used for and if AI can replace what humans are doing.
I think what it's used for, but also the intent with which it was created, like expressing creativity in some way or having a desire.
Okay, so if the intent is to represent your company, is that art? So like I get a logo?
Well, also, I think that question, because I wouldn't attack that, but I would say, I think that's part of an interesting question is, does the intention of the artist matter, right? But again,
I think it does.
Yeah, that's great if you think it does, but there are some people that would argue really strongly on both sides of that, right? I think the intention of an artist could flush.
Argument to that.
The counter argument is death of the artist. The intention of the artist is completely and totally irrelevant. It doesn't matter. If your grandmother gave you a quilt and she put a random assortment of letters on it that spelled the N-word and that meant something important to you, and you decided to put that in your car, and people like saw you driving around with the N-word in your car, and you're like, what the fuck? You're like, oh no, the intention is like really pure. This is something my grandma did. Most people aren't going to care.
No. In terms of like whether the intention is moral or not, just whether or not she chose those specific squares for a reason to make a specific piece. I think making intentional choices in art is what makes it art.
Well, but aren't we challenged by forms of like random art where the people will do like the splatter paintings or the bucket over a thing? Like, isn't that
and they're making the choice to do those? Yeah,
yeah, but isn't the challenge
of making the choice too?
Isn't the
no, it's not. Is the thing? It has no context.
How is it not
for
making a choice? Yes, it does. It has context. It has lots of experience.
No, it only has the images that it's seen. It doesn't have the context of any preferences or lived experience or like, ooh, so this is like, no, it doesn't. It doesn't.
It does have preferences. Its weightings have preferences, and when it draws images, it can go back and it can
so
adjust.
So that's made by okay. So actually, this dovetails into like a side topic. So generative art, I think, is really really cool, and I think that's totally valid as art. But that's because humans are specifically like doing the programs to make it generate the thing. If every AI artist was like programming their own AI to generate art, I'd feel a little bit more like, oh yeah, you can call yourself an artist because you've created this thing to do this thing. But as it is, people are just using a tool that somebody else made to do it.
Hold on. I don't feel bad interrupting now because I was waiting and then you fuckers jumped in.
Good. Get in there,
Do you think? So you said if they built their own programs.
Yeah.
So
generative work is
okay.
Generative art is really fucking cool. Yeah.
Do you think?
So wait, you think if somebody?
Wait, let Lycan finish his shit. Oh my god, go, Lycan.
Do you think that Steven Spielberg is an artist? Do you think directors are artists?
In some way, yeah, but not in the same way that like.
Because at the end of the day, they're taking.
In terms of context, yes.
They're taking like they tell someone what the image is supposed to look like when they have a graphics artist making stuff. They are bringing people on that have a certain look that are giving the certain aesthetic they want. They find the right sceneries and all that. An AI is very often taking these images that it's already consumed and that it's processed and it's putting them there.
Yeah.
People are telling the AI, I want it to look like this, but it's simply the camera capturing the image, putting it all together as if they had all those components.
So I would say that the difference there's a few differences. That all the people underneath him are humans that are generating like the art that is eventually produced. I guess it's just like more like a team project. And also he has like a direct say during the process. It's not just, hey, I want this movie. Oh, cool. He
but
like
the final product
changes and modifies things as it goes. But I think that process where you're like taking a direct hand in terms of the creation and modifying how it turns out, I think that's what makes the difference between like literally a photocopier and then a human. It goes through a modification process.
Can I toss something in here real quick? And then you guys can also tango this. I'll let you two talk about it. Do you consider like photographers artists? Because aren't they just copying what they're seeing?
Because they're taking they're taking photos with intention.
Wait, so the intention part, what if somebody just traces? What if somebody photocopies with intention?
I don't know. There are like collage artists, and I would say that collage artists.
No. Somebody that just traces. I'm watching DBZ and I trace Gohan because I feel strongly about it. Am I an artist there if I trace
tracing, it? I would say no. Yeah, you're an artist if you trace. That's how a lot of artists learn. But even a tracing, you're still using your muscle memory. You're still using, like, it's still going to be at least mildly filtered through a person, and I think that that's important.
There's still a person that is directing the AI.
Yes. True, but. Okay, somebody who uses Google image search, an artist?
Well, no, hold on. So it sounds like you're now making it's not that human interaction, because I just pointed that like there's a very similar aspect of human interaction between a director and a movie and someone using this AI generator. But now you're like saying it has to be certain levels of complex interaction.
I would say so I get that part this is a part where it does get sticky. I completely concur with that. But I do think that there's a distinct difference between, I really feel like AI art is more like somebody going to Google image search and being like, hey, I want this, rather than a director being like, hey, this is the result we're going for. This is how we're going to do it. Oh, are we achieving that? Okay, let's adjust in this way. Let's do this. Let's do that.
So it's complexity, because at the end of the day, I Google an image search, I'm getting a pre-created image that someone's just posted on the internet. If I go to an AI machine, I get to go in and I get to give very specific ideas of what I want to be generated in.
I mean, you can do specific ideas on Google image search too.
Right, but again, nothing new is being created from it. Something new is being created when I spit out an AI art.
This is interesting because I feel like there is a debate to be had whether like it's creating
well, again,
new when everything is
you say new, but then I'm going to point to the I'm gonna then point to, if you're like, yeah, but it's new, but it's concepts and ideas that have been absorbed and conceptualized. And I'm like, yeah, sure, but that actor is being reused in movie after movie after movie. That
True, but
background
again, it's
is being
filtered through his
used.
experience. It's different each time.
But the AI art's different each time.
No, it's not in the same way that a human's work would be.
Wait, why wouldn't
It like literally can't be different in the same way because it's still just drawing on the same pool of experience that it has.
No, it's not. It can learn based off of every new piece of art that it generates. It can learn off of new art that you give it. It can learn off of more training time.
Yes, but that's still just the art. It's not filtering any it's still not going to be filtered through the same like I said, preferences, muscle memory, learning experiences. It is not going to
you
be.
can give it preferences. You can just have another discriminator
But that's
that
just weight
says,
in
is
the
this good
code.
enough?
That's not. That's like not inherent. Kind of like something that will modify it in the way that humans.
What do you mean?
What do you
Will
mean?
it not change?
Wait, can I ask a
its
question real
outputs
quick?
to
In reliance to this intention and everything, what do you consider about classical musicians that try to emulate and like copy exactly classical music from the past? So you get like a whole orchestra, everybody's learning to play their instruments exactly as they were played in the past. Everybody's trying to play exactly the same. The pianists are trying to play exactly the same. Are these people artists? Are they creating art if they're just like copying?
I think again, it's like there's a reason why there's some like pianists and violinists who are more lauded than others because it's how the specific person plays it
Well,
that makes it
no, because I think
experience to see.
yeah, but if they're trying to play it just exactly as the past, they want to duplicate a past performance essentially. How is this different than like an audible photocopier?
I think because it took, like I was saying before about people who can do like photographic reproductions of art, it's going to take like to get that level of exact, like kind of specific exactness, like that level. It's going to take a lot of deviation from just like how they do it. It's going to have to still be filtered, and they'll have to like constrain and control those filterings to get to that.
So is it just then the difficulty part of it? That's what now it makes it sound like it's just about how difficult it is.
No, it's not at all about how difficult it is. Because there's certain art that I can emulate. Like I could emulate a Rothko in like 2 seconds, but it wouldn't really be kind of like to actually learn more about that. I would need to like know more. But the actual creation of a Rothko, just painting like a red thing, the difficulty of that is small. Do you see? That makes sense.
Kind of.
Steven, I have a question for you.
Jesus. I do consider AI artists terrorists. Yes.
What is an art in your mind?
I don't know. I've done enough music
so is
school,
everything
and I've
art
done.
under your
I have no
definition?
definition for art.
Is a car crash art?
I have no definition for art because any
Is
definition
me
that you try to
walking down the
give,
street
anybody can challenge it,
drinking
and you'll
coffee?
never be able to defend it. You will
Doesn't
never
there
be
have to
able.
be-
You'll never be able to
I think
defend
that
a
there-
consistent definition of art. I'm telling you that. There's no
I
shot.
think that there might be. I think that there might be AI art that definitely qualifies as art. But doesn't there have to be some intentionality or like a modicum of some intentionality, whether it's from the viewer or from the person who makes it? Otherwise, literally everything is art. And there's
If you want to argue that, it's fine. But like the whole, I'm pretty sure during like the 70s and 80s, and I'm sure there's been tons of periods in history. I know that for music, it was people like John Cage. It was atonal artists like Schoenberg. Like people are challenging the concept of what is music constantly. When it comes to art, who was the guy that put the toilet in the art museum?
But what's consistent? The consistency is the only consistent thing is that someone wants it to be perceived as it. And the other, or that someone is perceiving it that way and they're intending for it to be perceived that way, either at the time of creation or at the time of enjoyment. But literally, that's the only consistent. That's the only consistent thing you have. Otherwise, like I said, me walking to get coffee is art.
Sure. I mean, you can argue then that, but then at the end of the day, what you're essentially arguing then is that art just needs to have human input, or what?
I think so.
Have
I think
human
so.
creativity,
Yeah.
I think so.
So wait, if you have
or not
10
human,
images,
but sentient, like I said, sentient input.
if you have,
I think
10 AI
sentience
generated
is
images
absolutely
and you pick up one.
pivotal. What's that?
If you generate 10 AI images and then pick one to put on the cover of your book, is that now art?
I think so. I even think that I even think
I
that
disagree on this point. I
I think
like
that
you need to
curating
modify
something could be
AI
art
to-
if you intend it. Like, let's say that you make a playlist of, I don't know, the best playlist for whatever workout you're doing. I think that if you're intending for that to be an artistic endeavor and
there's
people,
DJs. Yeah.
like I think that that's probably art. And so you curating, right? Like, who can argue that like curating a particular apartment and like a collection of colors isn't art.
Well,
And I
people
think
argue with that.
that's
People,
the
but
only
people
consistent-
do argue that because there are people that argue that DJs aren't musicians. People that do mixes aren't musicians.
Would you argue that though?
No, I wouldn't. I'm just
DJ
trying
that
to
just
say that
plays
like,
songs,
you can find other
There's a
people.
difference between DJs who just play like unedited versions of their
Yeah,
own songs.
people will say the
DJs who
difference is-
make mashups and mix things together.
I'm just saying
I
it's
do think
silly
there's
to enter the conversation of AI art versus human art and pretend that what is art from a human perspective is solved. This is something that has been debated. Like
that's why I said it was an interesting conversation.
Sure,
because
I know,
it
I
is
know.
kind of,
But I'm
like,
saying like Pisco trying to come and be like, oh well, no, we clearly know what is art. Art is something that has human
No,
intentionality.
I'm just saying. Listen, we
I
have
do
to
think
have.
there's certain parameters that we have decided. Like, there's a reason a photocopier isn't an art, but an artist, but an artist is.
Wait, a photocopier can be a tool used to make art.
Exactly.
I think
yeah, but we wouldn't
if-
call it an artist. We wouldn't call a brush an artist, even though it's the thing that
if
makes the art.
Well, I don't think anyone's calling the AI unless we think the AI has sentience, because I think sentience is necessary.
No,
here.
and that's the thing. Like, I don't think it can create that art.
But human beings who are manipulating the AI, just like they're manipulating the paintbrush, they can be
I think-
artists, can't they?
So wait, why is the thing coming out of the photocopier not art?
Well,
It
hold
is
on.
art.
Quick, careful. The photocopier
No,
question.
it is-
Wait. The
Don't
photocopier.
confuse
Wait.
creativity.
The photocopier question is tricky. They're not asking what is art. They were saying, is the
Yeah.
photocopier an artist? Those are two different questions.
Yeah.
Don't get
No,
caught up.
AI is
Yeah.
not an
No,
artist.
hang on,
The
hang
thing
on.
that comes out is art.
That's an important distinction between the art and the artist. Who's the author of that work? And then another distinction is it a creative or original work deserving of protection? That's something totally different.
The second one is no.
I don't think. I think the second part gets kind of nebulous because some people do really boring shit, but it's still art. It doesn't have to be creative. Or,
That's what I'm
like,
saying, right? So it's a
original.
separate
Yeah.
question. If you guys could
Yeah.
say, I could photocopy the Mona Lisa, and each one of those is art, and I'm making art. It's not creative art. It's not original art,
Yeah.
but it is art. I'm intending for it
Yes.
to be art. But on the other hand, me walking to get coffee isn't art. Now, but hang on. If I make it a performance, right? I make the theater, and I want my walk to Dunkin' Donuts to be art, and I put on, and like people come to watch me do this very elaborate routine walk to the Dunkin' Donuts. I think you guys would all agree that's probably art.
Well, so then here's a question: could somebody else?
Wait, would you?
Well,
Steven?
Yeah, if you were doing an intentional performance of it.
Yeah.
But here's a question:
performance art's
what if
the same.
somebody else decided that it was art, but you didn't?
Those are the harder questions. Yeah. So
well, but that
the
is the
harder
question because I
questions-
can look at like an AI
that's
art
actually-
and intuitively it feels like. What if you do an elaborate thing, but like you just kind of do it yourself? You've got like OCD and you do some crazy shit. What if I observe it every day and I'm like, man, this is like artistic.
Well,
This is
let
so
me give you
yeah.
the hard examples for my case are like, and this is why I said either the user or the creator is. Let's say that I totally accidentally slip, and I create this like I don't know, a brush lands on a canvas and it's beautiful and everyone loves it. Everyone agrees it's art, but hell, I never had any intention to make that. Or like, let's say that you accidentally push start stream and you never intended to start a stream and it's just a stream of you eating something in your underwear and the people love it, but you never intended to start that stream. But people are like obsessed with this stream of you eating stuff in your underwear. Like, isn't that art? Even though there's no intentionality behind it, I think
The
that
perception angle is interesting. Yeah.
that you can't just go on the creator angle, because if you do, then something that is totally indistinguishable that everyone considers art, that humanity views as art, ultimately could be sort of nullified just because you happen to know that this was a complete accident.
Yeah. So then like the intuitive.
But I feel like
or go ahead.
if the person that is the person being observed is kind of like, I didn't intend this as art, it's weird that people think this, I feel like they would be kind of qualified in saying like they're not an artist in that way. They don't consider it art, but people observing it can decide what
But
they
isn't
want,
that just
I guess.
memes? Isn't that just meme culture?
No, I think that for art, intent of the artist is also like.
I like
it
that.
seems
So
important too.
so the person who accidentally streams is not an artist, but they created art. Were you okay with that actually? That someone who is not an artist made art.
That's interesting. I hadn't actually thought of that. I feel like that's why I wanted to have this discussion, because there's like a lot of subjective weirdness to it, and I'm curious about delving into it and running into things like this where it's like it is nebulous.
Yeah.
True.
All right, here's another one. Are like stop signs and road paintings art?
No. Unless they're
Okay.
intended to be, right? Let's say you make a
Well,
stop
so
sign
then-
and
but
you
then-
There was actually a
hold on,
discussion about this
hold
the
on.
other day
Let me-
in go ahead, sorry.
I was gonna follow up on that. So then, when we go back and we find the cave paintings of trying of like deer migration patterns or things like that, we call that art. That's cave art. So why is it
Yeah,
not the same?
I think that I think there has to be an intentionality. Now things can be multi-purpose, right? Maybe it's both artistic and it's functional. I don't think that everything has to be one thing, but I think there has to be a modicum of intentionality or a modicum of creativity or a desire to put something into existence. That
we were
is
talking about this the other day in like DGG art chat about like our doorknobs art. And it's like, well, probably there was an original artist who designed the doorknob, but like probably the end result that's like mass manufactured.
Can you not make black
intent of
colors?
It being like art is more debatable.
Isn't it?
Wait,
isn't
did
the
you say
design
I
of the
don't think
doorknob
so,
supposed to
Rachel?
be aesthetically pleasing?
Rachel,
But, yeah,
did you just say I don't think so?
Yeah, I don't think you need
Then what?
intentionality.
Then sorry. Then everything is art. Then.
Yeah, I mean, it could be as long as people perceive it as art. Because, like, imagine all the memes that get made of like people like cut on stream or people just random images that get taken, like the 1984 comics, or things like that.
So everything is art, but wait.
Yeah,
so
everything can be art. Yeah.
Okay, but that's our position, right? Everything can be art.
No, that's our
But
position.
No.
That's my position. Yeah.
So
AI makes
everything
art.
can be art, so long, but there has to be a connection to a sentient or conscious creature having some kind of reaction or intentionality behind what.
Wait, hold on, whoa. Reaction and intention. You described the opposite sides of both of those things, right? Because that's so here's the question. You walk into a place and you see a grand, awesome, beautiful mural on a wall. It elicits a ton of emotions from you. You feel a certain type of way about it. And then you know, wow, that's the most beautiful piece of art I've ever seen. Then somebody comes by later and they tell you, oh, well, actually, that thing just landed there by accident. Like the rain fell on a certain pattern and created a thing. Is it no longer art to you? Or
I think I think that there has to be some space for viewers and observers and art enjoyers to determine something to be art, even though its creation or its inception was not intentional.
So then here's one. If we want to go to the audience enjoyment, well then, if a guy takes a shotgun, shoots himself in the head, splatters it all over the wall, and it's now an album cover, is that art?
Yeah, I think if you take that picture, I think that would not only do I think it's art, I think that would be probably protected in the United States.
Okay, but I guess
Chad just said it's art. People using art artists though, their clients. But yeah, I can agree more with that. I still don't think AI itself can really make. I think it gets back to the definition of like art being filtered through something, but I do think that that's a more accurate representation than what most people are saying.
If people can enjoy something that wouldn't traditionally be art, why would AI creating images not be considered art if people enjoyed them the same way? If I was to be able to put it up as a logo for my company, no one would ever know the difference.
Like we were talking about before, how basically anything can be enjoyed as art. Like you can look at what was it, like a crumb on the desk and be like, wow, that's art.
That is just the most beautiful crumb.
Yeah. But whether most people would agree is kind of where it gets.
I think you have to make some kind of appeal to, from the viewer perspective. I haven't thought about this. I'm just thinking out loud. There has to be some kind of appeal to consensus or to agreement with respect to the viewer experience. And I think that like it might be sufficient for just one person to intend something for that to be art by itself. Maybe that's how I would distinguish it.
And so then next thing I would say is you're totally ignoring the intention of the person who is creating the AI, because the purpose of that AI is to be able to make hundreds or millions or infinite.
Oh no, I
number
think
of works of
that
art
that could be art. Yeah, no,
So
I
that's-
totally think that could be art. Yeah.
So this is where it's interesting to me. What is the difference between that and somebody doing Google image search? If all they're doing is typing words and then
Because
something
it's
comes
novel.
back.
Wait, no,
Because
it
it's
might be.
novel.
Wait,
How is
hang
it
on.
novel when it's literally just taking things just from its database? It's
Novelty
not
can't be a
It's
part
not
of your
taking
argument.
anything from its database. Do you know how AI art is generated?
So it learns off a database, and
Sure.
I think when
Rachel,
it
you have to
gets
bite the
down
bullet. Rachel, you have to bite the bullet there.
Bite the bullet on
that
what?
it wouldn't be able to generate the things it
search
creates
can
without that
absolutely
original
be art.
database.
You have to bite the
I mean,
bullet.
Google search would be art, but it's not.
What?
You're
You
not
just said
creating
looking
art
at
by
a
doing
crumb
Google
and
image
thinking
search.
it's art makes it art. You just said that. So how would a Google search not be art if you wanted
Yeah.
it? Or
Well,
if you thought
it wouldn't be
was a
it wouldn't be
beautiful search.
new novel creative art the same way that an AI creating it is.
Wait, no,
The same way the
novelty
photocopier
can't be a
isn't.
part of your definition of art. Is creativity and novelty part of your art definition?
Yeah, 'cause there's a
Creativity,
whole,
no.
like,
Novelty,
nothing
yes.
Wait, so
Yeah.
a crumb is novel and creative to you, and that's meaning your definition?
That's unique in 3 dimensions, sure. Or-
Dude, stop. Because the
That seems
okay,
like a
if that's unique enough, then the Google search has different
I mean, if I
electrons
was to
going
post a
off.
picture of my crumb on Reddit and people were like, "Wow, that's the most amazing
No,
crumb,"
wait,
then
but
yeah,
you
that's
posting
art.
a picture of that crumb is the art. That's the art. That's you taking
Can't see it in
your.
person. All right, so if I open a museum in my bedroom where there's like the breadcrumbs or whatever that I spilled on the floor, and I exhibit
same
it,
thing with the Google
Yeah,
searches.
that's the intent.
I
You're
go
making
to
it into
the
art by doing that.
yeah.
You're showing people how you're observing this thing and going, yes, I perceive this as art. Please look at it in the same way I view it because this is what I see in my head and why it's
Absolutely, yeah. The Google searches is totally. There's nothing that distinguishes it from the Chrome example.
Well, no, the thing that Google search is explicitly doing is it's explicitly copying images that are out there already and just displaying them for you. So it's just
Why
saying,
is
"Here's this
copying?
picture, here's this picture."
Why is copying not? Why is copying not art? Copying is art. If someone
Yeah,
perceives
we
it
did
as
say
art,
that
it's
people
art.
could copy master paintings and it was art, so.
I don't understand why you were saying copying isn't art. A Google image search under your view is just as much art as AI.
Damn.
Sure, I guess if you want to do it like that, it doesn't. I think fundamentally there's.
What do you mean if I want to do it like that?
Copying,
That just
returning
sounds
things
like-
that are already there.
Yeah, it is. It can be art.
I mean, I
Why
guess
are
it
you
could
so
be.
hesitant?
Because I personally wouldn't consider a Google image search art, but you could
Why
consider
not?
it
Why
the same
wouldn't
thing.
you? Is it because
Well,
it,
because
like,
you're just
blurs the
literally
meaning of
taking
art?
something that's there. It's the same thing. Like if I take 5 pictures out of a magazine and I stick them like together, I'm
Wait,
not going to say that's
more
art.
art than that, though. Collage is literally more art with intention.
What,
than
what do you
Google
mean?
image search,
A
though.
Google image search is just digital collage.
A collage is art.
The computer.
You
it's
said a
not
Chrome is
art
art.
unless you
I
take
wouldn't
those images
consider
and
it.
collage them together.
I personally wouldn't consider it art, but if a 3-year-old...
Why not? Well, why wouldn't you consider it art?
Because I don't think sticking things together, they're already out there in ways that are hardly novel.
What?
isn't art.
Literally AI.
Bro,
That's
you
not
said
what
the
AI
only
is
thing
at all. You just
No, it
don't
basically
know.
is because it literally wouldn't be able to create what it's creating without the representations that it already has. If you just put experiences into
Okay,
it,
well,
if you
neither could
just
you.
put
If-
preferences,
I mean, I think
Yes,
that to be
you
clear, that's
could
the same.
create
That's the same with
generative
humans.
AI.
Blind humans wouldn't be able to draw art, right? They can do the mechanical things, but they can't draw art in a meaningful way for us because they can't see it. They need references as well. Humans
but
need
they could do
references.
sculpture.
So
and if they
that's a
reference
but not.
sculpture,
But that's
they
not.
would still have their own preferences to do it.
But that's
Okay,
a different thing, right?
but
If you remove
AI
if you took a crippled blind person, they wouldn't be able to do it, right?
You can
Rage,
create
I can't
AI
get over
from
this.
Scratch. You don't even need any human
No, I
images.
think
You can train it from scratch by itself. It would just take a lot longer, so people just don't do it. And you could
Wait,
still
no.
no.
We've seen AI trained on like really shitty small models, and it creates absolute garbage.
Oh wait, because these are really shitty small models. If you wanted to put like $200 million into it, you could train it from absolute scratch, where it'd be generating its own images, its own captions, and everything else. And you could have it self-train over time through a GAN or something of that nature in order to get it to.
You don't
output
even
the
need
exact
that though,
same
right?
thing
I mean,
that's
right,
So
but
again,
why
it's
even
still
talk
not
about
going
AI?
To
If you
modify or filter through that through anything other than what it's already seen image-wise. It's literally just taking the images and creating things based on those images, and that's why it's different from a human. That's
Wait, a human only can create based on the things that it's already seen and created in the past.
not
That's no
just
different than
the
a
images.
model at
A
any point in
human
time.
doesn't create a art just from the art that a human has seen. It's not just going like, oh, I saw this comic, I saw this painting. Now, all the art create
how else
is just
does it
going to
get
solely.
It does.
It's
It's
not
just-
going to solely be created on those.
It is. It's
Not
just a little
solely.
bit. It is. You're just not cognizant of it,
No.
right? Of course.
No,
You can't create
absolutely.
art based on
It's
things you
not
have no
solely
experience
created-
of.
No, it is not the sole input though. Having the art and seeing the art you see be the sole input is bonkers. That's the
Okay,
problem.
so
It's
if I
like
added
all
some
the
music
other
to
aspects
training
in
my
your life.
model, if I added some music, if I, added some text, if I
No,
added
this is where
some
this
other
is
stuff.
why I like made the sentient conversation, because I feel like a person's preferences, their muscle memory, their knowledge, their what makes them makes them make things different from the next artist who has seen the same
Okay,
paintings.
The AI does something different, and every AI you create is going to be different, and it still
No, but it's
creates
only-
things that people would consider.
not
as-
Here's
Why
the,
would
this
it
is
be
what's, wait. This is
different?
this is what's
Every-
wait. This is what's happening. This is why the conversation seems like it's more. But you're making it more complicated than it is. We're saying that AI art creates art based on inputs, and that we understand that it's limited to that. And you're like, okay, well, humans don't just create art based on inputs. They create art
Yeah.
based on their inputs and more complicated inputs. That's all you're saying.
Yeah, and I'm saying that
But
AI,
AI
art doesn't have enough complicated inputs to do
Steven,
more
you're
than
being
just like
slippery.
reproducing.
I'm not
them
being
in
slippery. She's
different
saying
things.
because
you are.
no, because she's saying that like, hold on. Well, AI art just gets a bunch of images and puts things in, but humans
Yeah.
have like a collection, a lifetime of images. Okay, well, you could filter those same images into an AI, the exact same images, but you probably still wouldn't say, oh, well, now it's art. You probably wouldn't feel any differently at all about it.
You guys are
No, I'm
misrepresenting
saying
how
if
wide your
an AI
position
has,
is.
yeah, if an AI has preferences, I would consider it art. I would consider that filtering it through something that isn't just a tool that takes point A to
that's-
point B.
That's what it does internally, though. It takes a look at its
No, it
output,
doesn't.
and if its
It's-
output doesn't
it's-
match, yeah, you can put a discriminator function on there where it'll discriminate.
Yeah.
It'll take a look at the final output
But
of art
it's
and say,
still
no, this is something I
only
don't like,
using
and then
those
spit
things
something new
within
out.
it. That's the thing.
But only
It's not
humans
using
are as well.
anything
Humans
from
can
what's-
only use what they've seen and what's in it. It's not like some unique.
But what I'm saying is humans are using more than just the art they've seen, and I think that that's an important distinction, and that's what makes it.
Wait, what
different
else
than
could a
just
human
the art.
possibly use than the things it's seen?
Not just the things it's. Sorry, the things it's seen. Well, actually, no. Muscle memory is a thing that is not seen.
Why we keep
There's
saying muscle
also-
memory like it's some special, unique thing. This can be emulated.
It is. There are certain artists can do like things that I can't do because they have better muscle memory to do stuff.
No, you can do anything an artist can do. It's just a matter of training for it, right?
Yeah, I do think training is, and that training is filtered through like a person, like their ability to practice and do that thing, and like how exactly they want to mimic somebody else's style. I feel like all of that is filtering through human experience.
I don't understand why fucking critters got on this planet.
Experience?
Are 10 things not enough to shoot down biter asteroids? I don't understand.
I don't think it experiences. It only has
So
the
you
image
just-
data that you're giving it.
So
It
you
doesn't
just feel
experience
that
is
the
the
robot,
thing.
You just feel that the AI doesn't do
No.
things, even though you're having a human training
No,
it
no,
and making the choices as to what images to feed it, how to train it, and what outputs it wants in and out. And that's not enough for it to be art. Even though you have a human using a tool to create an output that looks
I
better than
have
what-
said I think that would be like the more debatable part, but I don't think it's actually human. I don't think it's art unless a human modifies it beyond that. I think people who do
Wait, what?
in painting and stuff, that I would be more willing to budge on and say that that's art, because a human is like painting the parts of the painting, things like that, choosing with intention, not just like, hey, anime titty lady, and then it just summons the anime titty lady, you know?
Well, but he's already created the tool for that, right? Because then you're going to say, run into the same thing as like, say I have a pen, right? Well, all you're doing when I'm taking a pen and drawing with a pen is using a tool to put some blots on an image,
Yeah, but
right?
you're
I'm just
choosing
using
where
a
those
tool
blots
and I'm
on
not
the image
modifying
go.
it any further.
No, but you're choosing where you place all those blobs. You're choosing what that tool does, far more specifically than AI art does.
Okay, but if I take a paintbrush and splatter it on
That's still a choice.
canvas,
That's an
well,
intentional
it's-
artistic choice.
it's an intentional artistic choice.
You guys
for
are
me
putting
to
the cart
put
before the
those
horse. They got
blocks.
these people think Destiny and Ragepope think that like Mother Nature making a flower petal, as long as a human observer, believes it to be art, that's all it takes for them to think it's art. That's
So
my
then-
understanding. So like, I don't know why you're wasting all this time talking about the creation process from
No,
your
no.
side,
Let's go-
Ragepope,
let's
because
do
like
another one. What
you
about-
think that any little fleck of dust, as long as one person perceives it as art, is art. In which case, it's just, I don't know it's too broad to be useful at all.
Yeah, welcome to fucking art.
Oh,
Well, I feel like that's
no,
like the
no,
problem, though.
any
It's
word
the
that's
same thing
that
happening
broad.
with, like a lot of terms nowadays is they get diluted until they're no longer useful. Like Nazi.
That's
or,
your
like,
problem with the
rape,
term
things like
No,
that.
no, no. I just
with
want to step
gender.
back to the tool thing for 1 second, then we'll go to Pisca's one. So for the tool thing, what about a camera, right? The camera has no agency. It just does whatever you do,
No, but a
and then it
person
copies
chooses
exactly
to
what
take a
it
photo
says.
and makes the decisions in that.
Well, but I chose to use my AI to make the thing that I wanted to make.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I just don't think it really is in the same way, though. I think that's like the closest thing.
How is it not any different? Because the tool that you're putting in, every time I put something into the tool, it's going to spit me out.
I just
something
don't see how
different
that's
that I may
measurably
not like.
different than like somebody typing something into Google image search, really. Like I feel like the concept is there,
So
but
Google
I don't
image
think the
search.
execution.
So
Yeah.
when Google image search goes off, it says, "Hey, what images are on the internet that matches tree?" And it'll take hundreds or thousands,
AI
however
goes,
many
"I've learned
images,
that
and just
when
display
people-"
those.
Yeah. But when you type something in AI and it goes, "Oh, I've learned that when images are
No, it
titled
doesn't.
this, they look
I
somewhat
thought you
like
agreed
this."
that was
no,
art.
that's
Wait,
not-
Rage Pope, you had already agreed
It's
that
like
a Google
image
search
and word
can
pairs
be
is like
art.
a huge basis for it.
I personally don't think it's art, but I don't.
Wait,
know
no,
how
no,
to
you
define art.
wait, you
I don't
agreed.
think
I thought we
collages are
agreed on
art.
that. Wait,
No,
a collage is not art. A
No, I don't
playlist
think
can't
it's
be
art.
art, but a fleck of dust can be if one person thinks it is, or like a piece of poop. If
Not if
one
one
person
person
in the
thinks-
entire world
if
thinks that that's art,
hundreds of
it's
people
art.
think it is,
but
then
not a
yes.
collage.
But not one person. If one person doesn't, fuck. All right. So if you just make a collage, I just think that's copying and sticking things together. I don't think it has any real meaning or anything else. If a million
Dude.
people in the world say that's art, that's fine. Because
Yeah,
again,
there's
art is
a lot
literally
of people
just
that think so,
subjective.
yeah.
It doesn't
I'm
mean.
asking. Okay,
It
so
only
if-
has meaning
Don't get
if
into
other
this,
people
and
assign
don't
meaning.
fight. Then don't fight her on the Google image search. If all it takes is subjectivity, don't fight on the Google image search
Also,
and say
everybody
yes.
who's like saying
No,
I'm just
because
hating on art
when
and
I
worried
create
about losing
Google
my
image
job.
search,
I think
people aren't saying that
AI
it's
things, art things are really fucking cool, and I'm really hyped about them as tools, and I'm really excited to use them. I'm not stressed about that. That's not why. I think it's an interesting discussion because it's so subjective and weird.
Wait, Pisco brought up something that I think is interesting. That I wanted to ask earlier is, do you guys think that nature can create art?
I think if enough people, my personal opinion is, if there's one person who intends to make a piece of art, who intends to do it creatively, I think that intentionality from the creator side is probably enough to make it art. And I think from the, I don't know, the experiencer side, I think it requires more than just one person's idiosyncratic view. I think it would probably require some kind of consensus, because otherwise, literally, we could say one person who thinks their piece of poop, or a piece of poop that someone else poos, who didn't intend for it to be art, just looks at it like, wow, that is magnifique. Then like all of a sudden that's art. Then the definition, I think that for the experiencer side of it, there probably needs to be something more substantial than one person considering it to be art.
Would you be okay with religious people saying that the Grand Canyon is art because God made it?
Am I okay with it?
Would you be accepting of that being art?
But just think about what they mean when they say that. What do they mean when they say the Grand Canyon is art because God made it? They are ascribing to God an intentionality. This is part of His design. And even with the people who try to, even for the people who try to like say that evolution is part of God's plan, it's because God is the prime mover. He's the designer of this plan. That's what they mean by that.
So then, if you don't believe in God, then do you not believe that it's art?
I think that.
Then now is it art?
I think that that takes away the creator kind of art. And
you're re-asking the analogy that I gave earlier of imagine you stumble into a forest, you find a beautiful painting on a wall, and then you find out later that it was there by accident versus they're being created by somebody, right?
Yeah, but in that case, like that's what I mean. Like it can't, for the creator, I think that it's enough if there's probably enough if you have an intentionality to put something into creation that's art. But for the viewer side, there needs to be something more. There needs to be an agreement or something else more substantial, other than just any sentient creature's individualistic perception. Otherwise, it really just blows up. And I don't know why Rage Hope is fighting on the Google search or like fighting on these weird grounds.
Because I think you need more than one person to just.
Yeah. Okay. So then it seems like everyone agrees on that, and so it's not just purely subjective. Otherwise, the word is truly meaningless. And I don't think that even Steven thinks it's truly meaningless.
I do.
Okay. Then everything is art. Then me.
Yeah, You're not saying anything like that's not a gotcha.
You coughing is art.
You're not going to say anything here that is going to be novel to me, right? Yes, this is the whole debate on what is art, right? John Cage's piano piece, 4:33, I think, is just him lifting the piano thing and sitting there for 4 minutes and 33 seconds, saying the sounds around us are music. Anything is music. That was literally the point of that piece, right? And I'm sure you can find equivalents. I don't know. I only know music, but I'm sure you can find equivalents to that across every single art discipline where people are like anything can be art. Look at all the Pollock paintings or whatever, like the random fucking shit. Yeah, of course. Like just trying to challenge me. Like, so you think anything can be art? Yeah, people have been arguing this for centuries.
Any one individual, no matter how insane, no matter the whole world, all sentience except for one sentient creature can be in agreement that thing is really just mundane. It's really just empty space. It's nothing. It's actually nothing. But there's one person, one mind that says that nothing is really, really beautiful. There's beauty there, and that's art. And the one outweighs the multitudes.
Art is not decided by committee. Like that definition, I would never go with. That in order for it to be considered art, there has to be like a majority of people that agree that it's art.
It doesn't have to be a majority. There just has to be more than one. Like
doesn't need to be more than one. One person couldn't make art for themselves.
This is just kind of like
No. I'm saying if more people
deciding like who is beautiful and who isn't, everybody's going to have some disagreements, but there are largely broad categories that we can all agree on.
Not when the question is what is art or what is music or what is
people. There are a large. I would say that you can gather a large group of people, and a lot will feel the same way about what art is and have the similar definition.
Saying that people will agree with each other is not the same as saying we can like nail down an objective definition of
that's what words are. That's what words are. That I mean, I don't know what you would never argue this in the case of gender. Like you always have argued against people saying, well, anything can be a gender as long as one person.
No, because gender is different. Because gender is referring to a concept where there's a fact of the matter about gender. It's not like
please.
Okay, what? Wait, do you think that's a point?
Wait. So there's a fact. There are facts of the matter about any kind of art. The fact is how many people agree with it.
No, there's a difference. Gender is hopefully, ideally. Gender is our attempt to describe something that maps onto reality. Art is not something that maps onto reality. That is a completely ontologically unique category that humans have created. Art doesn't exist in
All
nature.
these things are about perception, right? I mean, sandwich.
No,
what is a
no,
sandwich? What is
no,
a chair?
no.
Wait, is there a fact of the matter to what a chair is?
No, but a chair would be similar. No, a chair would be similar. A chair would be similar to art, right? I would agree
Okay,
there.
is there a fact of the matter to what a human being is?
The category of human being, I guess, would be there, but like, hopefully, there's a difference between describing.
Wait, is there?
You're in debate mode. You're not listening to me. I'm good. Talk to Rich Pope. I can't. If you're just gonna be in debate mode, like, you're not, because there's clearly the difference. If you can't see it, then the conversation is either beyond you or you're too debate brain right now to hear what I'm saying. Let me finish. There's a huge difference between saying there's a tree and then going like, whoa, tree, what is a tree? Versus this is art, right? These are two totally different things. Do you see that those are two different things, or do you think it's all the same?
I think those are all categories. Language itself is. Wait, hang on a second.
No, that's fine. I can't do this.
Wait. You can. You actually can.
I can't. If you're gonna say that it's all, if you're gonna say that's all the same shit, then my brain is. I can't. I'm too.
Wait, you can. I mean, what is language? If not,
Come on.
We're not talking about language. We're talking about these things. If humans were to disappear, okay? If humans were to disappear,
no more
trees, the things that are trees, like, would still be there, but the whole idea of art is gone. Yeah, I think so. Yes.
Yeah.
Wait. So the concept, the category of tree exists without people. I mean, categories in language is just our way of looking at things and looking at patterns, right? I mean, if there is no one to think about the categories and to deal with them, what is the category?
That's a good question. Where's Rage Pope?
I'm actually surprised that we got stuck on this facet of the topic for too long. My second part of the topic was going to be, is current AI ethically made?
The ethical parts are all boring because all of it follows from this conversation. The challenging conversation is the only thing that matters. Once you figure out that part, everything else like falls in very, very, very easily. It's like abortion. Figuring out abortion is pretty easy if you figure out if like the fetus is a human being or if it's just like a clump of cells, right? The challenging part is that part of the conversation.
Pisco, I have a question.
Yeah, go for it.
Do you think a concept can be art?
A category itself being art?
Like, for example, like the Milky Way galaxy. I don't think we actually have like a picture of it. We might have from like some satellite, but like that general idea of something so vast and has beauty in its like structure, but we can't picture it exactly. Do you think that's art as well?
Yeah, I think names.
And I think that makes it really, really broad also, and then it starts to lose meaning there again. It dilutes it a lot.
I think names can be art.
Define art for me.
And titles can be art. Me?
Something
either you or
made with intent and with conscious choices by a human, where they control kind of their preferences, experiences are all displayed in the end result.
Okay, so when I create an AI, I have intent to create a machine or a tool that will assist me in taking my thoughts, my words, my drawing inputs, and creating an output. It is a conscious choice for me to put together specific words, phrases, or even drawings into my AI.
The same thing is, what's the difference between you typing that in Google image search? Why is it different? Why is the result you get from that? Why does that make it art when Google image search isn't art?
Because Google image search is literally just an index of pictures that are already out there.
But in terms of the effort that you're putting in as an artist,
what do you mean? It takes hundreds of millions of dollars to collect all the pictures that I need to train it in.
Who cares about the amount of money? Wait.
Somebody
Why are you talking about the amount of money?
Yeah, somebody did, but not you.
Well, because she's talking about effort. That is
effort has never been a part. No. I don't think effort should be a part of our.
Well, she said it was, so.
Ooh.
No, I think you're sticking on something small amidst the broader things, which I said, which is like.
Well, so there's intentionality, right? So I am meaning to create this AI, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is a.
But also, how is it different from you going to Google image search and being like,
typing
in what you want to see there? That's like
literally. So Google image search, what it does, it's an index of things that already exist.
Yes,
so
I know you've said this already, but from an artist perspective, from your like input into the end result, how is it different? How are you
because you're gonna get So one, you get the exact same thing out every time. Every time you use the AI tool, you will not get the same thing back out. The second thing is
that's not.
Wait,
it's
wait, a
entirely.
photocopier makes
So,
art.
hold on.
Wait, why does novelty?
The thing that comes out of the photocopier is art. So the picture that you see.
So this
on the
is art.
screen-
So the Google search is art.
So there's a difference between what I would consider art and what you can consider art. Because if we're just going to do that, literally everything can be art.
You're not
the artist.
explaining what's different about it. You're agreeing that a copy.
No, I'm not. I'm saying that you're literally seeing copies of everything else. And so if you're saying, am I making original art by going to Google and typing in
No one's
tree,
talking about
the answer
original
is
art. No, wait.
Well,
You keep playing this shell game.
Wait,
no
no,
one's
I'm
talking about original art. We're talking
She's
about
saying it's
what
not
is
art at all.
art. Yeah, so that's
sure. Okay,
I'm
so then
assuming
by
that's
the
what
same
you're
definition,
talking
the
about.
AI is actually saying it isn't. You're saying that because I'm saying Google art isn't art, then the
You're-
AI that has the same output isn't art either.
Well, let's be clear what we're not talking about. You guys are arguing about what is art, and so you like originality should not be popping its head here if we're all agreeing that like you making a copy of a piece of art is making art.
So if we ignore the Google image thing, so we have intent.
Why?
we have
Because that's the part that you don't
just
like.
looking down her definition and whether or not you get originality out is irrelevant. And then you're saying that, oh, because I say it's not art, well, then the AI isn't art. When it
Why
doesn't
don't you
follow,
just
when I'm
say-
using
I mean-
her definition, when you're putting your own definition on top of what.
No, I've already said that like if you do in painting or something like that where you're having an active like part, more of an active part in the process than just like
So I just want to go back to your definition.
Yeah.
So we have intent. We have a conscious choice of putting things in, and then the previous experiences of the program and the human who made it are on display. That meets all definitions for what you consider art.
And so does the Google search. So I don't know why you're
Sure,
like,
yes, it does. And so it doesn't matter because it meets her definition, not my definition.
Oh, well, I'm asking you your definition because you seem to think that I
I think there has to be.
I just want to be clear. I probably agree with you that a lot of AI art is probably art, but you also agree with that, and so I want to know under what metric the Google search is not art under your definition.
So under my definition, it's not sufficiently unique. If I was to go copy 30 seconds of song, if I was to copy like 30 seconds of song from like 10 different songs and put it together, I wouldn't consider that art. That's not sufficiently
Now you
unique
have
and
problems. Now you have problems because if
Why?
I make a copy, a literal copy on a flash drive of a song, are you going to say that that copied version, this is a new version on a new piece of, it exists in physical space on this drive? Is that art or not?
So the song itself would be art, but you didn't create it by the act of copying.
Yeah, I did. Wait. I created the art by copying it. That's art. Isn't it art?
So this is.
Wait, is that art? Yes or no?
Transposing
I mean,
data isn't art in and of itself.
No, the thing
the
you
thing,
made,
the thing that you've created is art, but the act, but what you've
the
done isn't.
novelty and originality are not part of your definition of art.
No, that's not part of her definition of art.
No,
It's
I'm
part of
asking
my
about your-
definition.
I'm
I said it
asking
had
about
to be
yours.
sufficiently. So
I'm
I
asking
think
for
art.
you. Is originality and novelty part of your definition of
Yes,
art?
I would say that it needs to be sufficiently unique from things that have already been created, and it has to be enjoyable
I ask
to.
again, is that copied version of the song art?
No, I don't think.
So there's only one copy of everything, and that's the only thing that's art. Like only the one master tape of that song is art. The rest of them are not art.
It's art in the same way, but it's.
I
the
think
same
here. Wait,
piece of
hold on.
art.
Let me figure this. Let me navigate this one. This might be a tricky reference thing. The art here's a question. Oh my god! I just brain blasted my way through this because of the 2 paragraphs I've read on language before. You ready? If I'm listening to a song on my computer, okay, and it's a Nickelback song, and you're listening to the same Nickelback song on your computer, are we listening to the same song, or are we listening to 2 different pieces of art?
I think. Okay, I think you are listening to the same song.
Yep. So then when you ask, are you creating new art when you make a copy of
I
something?
didn't say new art. Are you creating art?
Okay, but well, are you creating a song when you copy a song? It seems like there's probably something a little bit different going on there, because even if you copied a song and you made a different like copy of the song, if somebody else listened to it, they'd still say it's the same song, right? I don't know if things that are references of other things are like creating art,
they're like-
which would also solve the issue that we
They're
have with
covers
the
of
hold on,
songs and
which would
things like
also solve
that.
the issue that we have with the Google search engine thing, because when we search for something on Google, we're not creating something new. They're just references to other already existing things.
So
I
I
knew
think
the
another
Google
thing.
search was not fucking art, but I couldn't explain it. Thank you.
Yeah. So
I don't think it helps them. I think it creates a
yeah,
whole.
no. So here's
No.
another thing that I would say. I would say that originality isn't needed necessarily for art, but any work that's originally created or any original creative work would be enact or would create art.
So then here are the problems that might create. So on the one hand, now we're saying that me photocopying a bunch of paintings or whatever images, those are all art pieces, correct? And we are creating art, but they're just references to art.
Well, so then we would probably say a reference probably isn't art.
But why?
Well, it is art, but it's not art because of the creative process. It's art because there's something that's already sufficiently creative.
It's a reference to other art. Like when I download a song on my computer, I'm not creating a new song. I'm just creating a reference.
You guys are all tripping because, listen, none of this matters. This creation process, for your definition, it's meaningless. I don't know why Steven and Destiny is like, you're even having this conversation about what art is because you already think it's meaningless.
Well, I'm trying to sort through
I
don't. You're the ones that are having this conversation about us. But I was trying to sort through the complicatedness of, or figuring out why Rage Pope is trying to say that the Google image search wouldn't count as art, but like a new creation by an AI might count as art. Because it seems like on a superficial level, you're putting in an input and you are getting out pictures, right? You can do it with Google image search or you can do it with an AI thing. So what's the meaningful difference?
Okay, so
and
all I
think
have to do to break that entire hypothetical, all I have to do to break the entire hypothetical is say, okay, then program for Google searches trivially alters the 1 millionth search thing and changes the order of it very slightly to make it effectively mathematically unique every time you do it.
But
sure, but if you start
level of uniqueness,
if you start building, if you start making that sufficiently complicated, now you've recreated AI art. If you're starting to talk about that, like every time you create an image search, it's going to actually start to alter the data in some way.
The problem is that Rage Pope doesn't want to say because it doesn't feel like art to him.
If somebody enters the exact same prompt as you do, what makes it measurably unique to you? What makes the output measurably unique to like your?
What if two people create the same song on Ableton using the same samples? Like, are they creating songs?
I doubt it would be exactly the same.
Well,
I think there would be subtle differences.
No. Well, hold on. No, there's no difference. If you're using the same sample, so you're using the same preset, like little sound fonts, and then you both like type in like a really basic piece, like for a music theory class, you could very easily have two people create the exact same thing. And sonically, it will be the exact same. By waveform, it'll be the exact same. Everything will be the exact same. But like, are they both creating art or no?
I guess I don't know enough.
God. Fucking synergy. Just fucking close my fucking Discord. I hate this.
But it would be like a cover. I mean, there's words for that.
Sorry, hold on. I just came back at the end of that. My shit just reset. Did you say it would be like a cover?
No, it would just be exactly the same thing. No. You put two people in a room. They both come up with the exact same song. They both make unique works of art.
Yeah, of course. And your definition, I don't understand why we wouldn't.
It would be the same work of art.
I just think it would be infinitely difficult to have two people create the exact same thing in most cases.
Yeah, but that's going to be that's going to be true for AI art as well, right? Because different databases, even altering a few images, could theoretically spit out completely different things, right? Like when you're talking about ML code,
that's not what the intervention or intention of the artist, though, is the thing.
Well, but hold on, but now you're not saying anything about the intervention artist. Before you were just saying it was unique.
Oh, sorry.
If you want to say something about intervention, that's a totally different thing. But like the whole point of like when you're talking about like machine learning code, this is like incomprehensible to humans. Like nobody goes through and like debugs like it's all like a bunch of jarbled shit.
It's all bullshit. You guys are talking about originality. You guys said a fleck of dust could be art, and so I don't know why we're even like talking about originality and novelty when you guys are like any piece of dust on my desk could be art. And now you guys are talking about originality.
Art, but it's not.
Okay, hold on. Stop. The reason why people are saying the speck of dust could be art is because it seems like what could be art, we're talking about the other side of the equation. You've got the intention of the artist, but it seems like the observation of an observer could also make something art. When we talk about the speck of dust, like a random speck of dust probably isn't going to be art. But if I show you like a random speck of dust in a museum and you're like, what the fuck is that? And I'm like, this is the last ash pulled out of Auschwitz of like a dead Jewish child. Well, now it feels a lot different. What? Because it's art? Did the Nazis intend to create art? No. Did the Jewish person want to be disintegrated and made it art? No. It's because of the observation. Because the person looking at it has a certain meaning or a way that they feel about it. But that's completely divorced from the intention of the person created it. So could a random speck of dust be art? Sure.
We already agreed. I think everyone here already agreed that there has to be some room for unintended things to be art, and that has to do with the observer. But
wait, did we all agree on that?
I agree with that from the
If everybody agrees with that, then that means that AI art can be art, because as long as somebody observes it and they
I
feel
think
like
AI,
it's art,
no,
then
I think AI art can be art.
Then what the
but
fuck are you
guys
even
talking
arguing?
about-
Why are you arguing with
No. You guys are talking about originality, and that art
Yeah.
art is literally a meaningless term. And if art is literally a meaningless term, then this entire discussion has been absolutely
art
incoherent.
feels meaningless, like a meaningless term, because in the broadest sense, like art could be defined as like either something that was created to make somebody feel some way, or something that's perceived as something that's perceived by a perceiver that makes them feel a way. But like what you've defined there at that point is essentially every observable thing by mankind. That's why it's kind of like a meaningless definition. Anything can be perceived. Constellations in the sky that people have made, like drawn through, like is that art? Because they're fucking stars. They're like balls of fucking hydrogen. Nobody had an intention behind that. So if
Isn't this like the point then?
That was the God point. That was the
no, when it's not a God point. I'm just saying that if anything can be perceived as art, it seems kind of pointless to like have a strict definition of it.
But I think that it's the whole same thing with aesthetics, where we can't really nail down, like with like clinical textbook rules, everything about what contributes to something looking beautiful. Like beauty is subjective, so there's always going to be differences of opinion. But largely, we can like make broad kind of judgments on things that most people will agree with to a certain degree.
Most people would say that AI art is art. If I went to a corporation and I said, here are 20 logos, choose the one that you like, and all of them came from an AI and they chose it and used it to represent their business, then that's art.
And that's a good argument. Wait, that's a good argument for AI being art. But you don't pretend that anything can be art just because one person.
No, I didn't say one person. I would say a few people would have to see it that way.
Says.
I think they're art in the same way that like a photocopy is art, though it's not something new generated from.
Wait, how is it not something new? It's the first time that thing's been put together, or anything even reasonably close to it has been put together. How is that not art?
That's fair. This is tricky. I just don't think that I think it requires more human intervention than AI currently does, because I don't see the meaningful difference between two people entering the same prompt, and even though they're getting different results, it's not because a human made those results different. And I feel like the human intent in choosing those, otherwise it's just like an image randomizer. It's just like the cloud filter.
Why does the human factor play such a huge role for you, though? Right? Like, why does the human have to be involved for something to be art? That seems to be what you keep on insinuating.
The human's
involved. I think intent is part of what makes it art.
There is intent. There is a lot of.
But what is the meaningful difference between when you and another person enter the exact same prompt, even if you
because
have
I'm
the
the one
with the prompt? How is it going to take your individual experiences and put that in the output? It's not going to, is the thing.
So if I have the same monitor as you, we're going to get the same output whenever we play the same video. It's just going to show on the monitor the exact same. But if I go create another AI, I'm creating a slightly different monitor. Might be a little bigger, might be a little bit smaller. When we put the same inputs in, the different outputs are going to come out. So if you go to the same AI tool and you put the exact same prompt in and the exact same random number seed, sure, you can get the same thing out. But there's an infinite number of AI tools that you can create that are trained slightly differently that will give you different outputs. Even if you're using the exact same seed, the exact same training set, that is intentionality.
That's not because of the artist intervening. That different outputs are not because of the artist, though.
Yes, it is. The artist intervening is the selection of the training set, the amount of training that he's doing, the data that he's putting in, the weights that he's assigning. Yeah. The artist is doing it when he's creating that weight. As soon as that AI is put together.
Wait, if you train your own art database, I feel like maybe I would have to think on that. I don't have a fully formed opinion on that, but I feel like that feels different than somebody just rolling up to a pre-made thing and typing something in that somebody else could type that exact same thing in. If you train.
But this goes back to the director comments and inputting things that are already existing.
And I feel like.
But do you have to make your own camera? Do you have to make your own camera to be an artist if you're to be a photographer?
No,
anybody could just go.
You have much more of a hand in the end result than what you do with AI, and I feel like.
What do you mean? You just
how
press
do you
a
know
button?
that? Wait, how do you know that?
Yeah,
it seems
because
like
you're choosing the
way more
angle
control
to
with
focus.
AI.
You're choosing the lighting.
No, you're
you're
not.
zooming in.
If I do everything, and then I have just go take the photo.
Stuff.
You're making selections and intentional choices.
Yeah, but you would do that with the prompt, right? You would make the selection based off of okay, I want this sort of image. I'm going to use this as the prompt, right? That's the same thing as setting up a camera, choosing the angle, choosing your lighting.
Yes, I can see that. But what makes it different? How do you get the person's artistic experience when you're not putting any input in beyond words and somebody else can put in the exact same words? It's not going to filter the art the same way that.
Well, somebody else can come and set up the camera the same way and press the button in the same way and set up the lighting in the same way, right? It doesn't just because somebody else could do it doesn't mean that it's not art.
I think it's
Yeah,
totally
s-
different with that. I think that's much more like you're much more involved in that process, and I think your intent is much more clear.
No,
than
but
someone
Pisco's not at
generating
all.
it
So I
randomly
set up
for
this
you.
camera. I spend like 12 hours getting this thing together, and then I have you, Pisco, and Destiny, and any of you can press the button when I tell you to press the button at the same time, and you're gonna get the same image out. And you have had no input to that process, but because you're pressing the button, you're now the artist.
What do you mean you're now the artist?
So whoever presses the button to
So
take
here's
that
the
picture
like
is now the artist.
the question that Rage Pop is asking essentially like when you talk about photography, right?
Yeah.
The photograph itself actually isn't art because that's just pushing a button. The art was the
Right.
inputs that went
Was
into
the
it.
choices.
Because like
It's the thought
theoretically,
process of
yeah, if I
making the
put
shot.
all the work into setting up the perfect shot and then you came by and then you push the button, like are you really the
Yeah.
artist? But then in that
Yeah.
case, if you're not,
Yeah,
even
I
though
would-
you're
I would
creating the same
agree,
piece of
like-
art, we're like, yeah, it seems like something else is happening.
Yeah.
But then you still created art.
Or did you?
The same way that you making a copy is creating art, or
Yeah.
really
No,
what we
it's
think
not.
is what we think is the person who created the art was the person who had all the intention behind it, all the thought process. Behind
No,
it,
I don't know why
the
you guys keep
director of the
focusing
shot.
on intentionality as if it matters,
What else do you
right?
focus on?
Because intentionality has nothing to like. There was a
What else do
very
you focus on?
I forget
Wait,
the,
wait, wait.
the artist's name, but there's an instance of a
It doesn't have to
photographer.
be like super meaningful intent, but I think
Well-
any intent to like create and display something, if I'm
But
even
it's
if
not
the
a
intent is just,
prerequisite.
like,
You
I'm
don't
just gonna
need
splash
intent.
this on
Like
here.
you could dig up old photos from a photographer that literally went through the city and like had a disposable camera and just like took random photos of the city. Right? They didn't have
that's
any
intent.
any sort of like. Yeah, but they didn't have an artistic intent,
Not
right?
to the
That is an
specific
artistic
photograph,
intent.
but to the
If
process.
They decided to
of-
take
Okay,
random
sure,
pictures
but-
of the city. That is their artistic.
Okay, well,
intent.
what if they
What
go
if
to
accidentally?
take out the camera from their pocket and they accidentally took a photo, right?
Yeah.
And then what if you analyze that photo and then
cool
oh
too.
my god, this is art. This looks beautiful, right?
That's
And
the
what if everybody else
experiencer
agrees?
case. No, that's the experiencer case.
Exactly.
where-
So the artist's intention literally doesn't matter. It's all
No,
on the
it doesn't mean-
observer's
sorry,
end.
Just because
No, I think it can
something
be
is not the only way to do something, create art,
Yeah.
doesn't mean that like. Therefore
Yeah, but
doesn't
I think
matter.
the
It
worry
could be
that
a
you get there-
sufficient condition to make art.
the worry-
that all you need is one person's artistic intent to have art.
Yeah, but the worry you get there then is that if an observer can decide something is art and an intender can decide something is art, then essentially everything that humans
We
observe can be
all
art.
are agreed on that. Wait, you must be
What you
agreed
need-
on that.
you
if
just need
think
more
it's
than one.
I do
nebulous.
agree, but I'm telling you that at that point you've got to the thing that upset you before, which is you've almost created like a definition where anything can be art, basically.
Wait,
I
here's
think
one. Is
anything
grave
can be art, but you need an experiencer. I think we have to agree that like experience and consciousness.
Yeah,
is
art without
required for
observation isn't art, right? Something needs to be observed for it to be art.
in which case it's not literally meaningless. It means that if all sentient creatures were gone, there would be no art. That's some start.
Okay, if all
and now
sentient
we're
creatures
narrowing
disappeared
it
though,
further.
wait, would there still be a tree in my backyard?
The
Are we
category of
realists?
tree,
Are trees
there would be a
sentient?
thing there, but the category of tree.
Okay, but there would be
think
the
that
thing
you are
there. Okay,
stupid to-
gotcha.
The thing would be there, but the category I think would be rendered useless and nonsense. Like it would be nonsense. What does the category mean without someone
So-
to have it?
So I have a performance art question. So there was like the lady who went and said for like 6 hours stood there and said you can do anything to me that you want, right?
Based.
So
Sorry.
all the people that came and did stuff to her, were they artists or were they creating art by interacting with her?
You can have joint
I think
authors.
it's collaborative art. Yeah.
Oh, so then why is an AI not collaborative art?
It can be.
What is no, I'm
If
not
you're
asking you. I'm
collaborating with
asking
another
her. She's saying
human,
it is.
You can't collaborate with a tool.
No, but you are. You're collaborating with a human who made that tool for you to use.
No.
No,
Well, wait.
you're twisting the
What about a
definition at that
camera?
point.
What about a
Like, you're
camera? Aren't you
saying
collaborating
collaborating
with a
with the
tool to
person-
make a picture with a camera, as opposed to painting something?
I don't think so. I think you're using a tool. I don't think it's collaborating. I think that's entirely different. I think there's no intent on the basis of the tool. There's
Collaboration means you're implying some sort of artistic input from a third party,
Yes,
from
from both
some other
sides,
party,
yeah.
and that doesn't
Yeah.
exist by just using a tool. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways.
Wait, Pep, did you say you said you didn't think the Google image thing was art?
I think that if you broaden your definition of art to include that, then it kind of does become kind of too diluted to be useful.
Wait.
Okay,
come on.
wait.
Wait,
Did
what
you
do you
say
mean?
that?
You are.
Wait, hold on. Did you
That
think
fits your
you said that collaging is art, right?
Yes.
Yeah. same thing.
Okay, is a
No.
Pinterest board art?
The one your mom made is.
Got him.
Oh my
You
god.
have to say yes if a collage is art. And then
Yeah,
first thing-
yeah, I think so, yeah.
yeah. So Google image
I
search.
mean, they're
the only
curators the same way. This is like the same thing as the DJ conversation, a little bit, you know? They're still using their intent, their tastes to curate something. And
Yeah, that can be true of AI, just like it can be true of a Google search, or it can be true of me walking to pick up coffee.
So then again, what's the difference between like the the Google algorithm spitting out images and the AI tool spitting out images? Why
It's
is
literally not. You're the one who's trying to come up with a distinction there. The only thing that matters is the
it's
experience
just,
and intentionality.
So
You were the
you
one
think that
struggling with this
AI art is art?
hypothetical for the last like 20 minutes.
Well, because you keep saying no, and then she keeps saying that AI art isn't art.
No. I'm saying that if you broaden the definition to include things like Google image search, then you dilute the definition of art to like.
Okay, but
point where it's
I'm
kinda
saying that you
meaningless,
don't
and
have
I
to because you have originality.
This is why I think that like outside of this conversation, and I think this is why people have been content to generally leave this topic alone. Outside of this like AI versus human things, nobody really asks the question of like, is this art or is this music? Like you can do it in a very esoteric or like I'm a very like whatever philosophical sense, but generally we all just kind of accept that like almost anything can be art. I think we don't usually we don't draw boundaries around it in real life.
Yeah, this is one of those instances where the answer is very not satisfying, so everybody wants to debate it constantly to get a satisfying answer, and you're never going to get it, right? I think that the best definition, the best definition of what is art is, unironically, like you know it when you see it, right?
No, I disagree with that. Hold on. I think that thinking of art as a label is a mistake. I think you have to think of art as a type of language, like a fluid language that conveys concepts.
So
it's not. Sorry, go ahead.
Like, what do you mean by that, though? Like, expand on that.
Like, when we communicate to each other, right? We're not using the words, or I mean, we're using words. We're using tools to try to communicate inner thoughts that we have in our head, right, to another person. And the art does the same thing, right? It tries to convey something. It doesn't have to be intentional, but it's conveying something through some sort of medium to someone else.
Yes, sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like the rules of it are really fluid, and we've discovered this throughout art. So thinking of it as a label doesn't make sense. Yeah. You have to think about it as a language.
Sure. I think that anytime in history anybody's ever asked the question of what is art, almost every single time somebody's doing that, they're trying to exclude something that they usually don't like, I think.
I mean, when people say that, is this art? They can mean one of two things. One is the kind of like, I don't know, existential question or the category question we're asking now, or is this good?
Yeah, that's essentially what people are usually getting at. Most of the time when people are like,
I don't
is
like
this...
that, is this good framing? Because there's so much subjectivity into what's good art.
Well, that's the
there
problem.
Can be, but that's
when most people ask,
when it's invoked, right?
Yeah, when most people ask that question, what is art? What you're really asking is, does this make me feel something? Right?
Well, or is it profound?
I don't know. That's
people are kind of getting at, or they're asking this more broader question, which is, what does the category of art even mean? And it is broad, but it's not without its limits. And I don't think it's purely subjective, because I don't think art, just like any other word in the human language, is used by people to communicate ideas. It's an English word that, you know.
But does it?
I mean, art is a word. It's a word.
Yeah, but like, if I say something to you, like, oh, this is art, like, I guess that's a question. When I say this is art, what am I communicating there?
I think the only good answer to this is when you're trying to say something is art, you're saying this is something you have to interpret in a different language. And that's the art.
Well, no, but like let's say a little bit more grounded, because that's very vague. Let's say that I ask like 10 people what is art, and I get them to draw. They don't have to give me like an exact definition, but even like a tree of like related concepts or whatever. If I ask somebody what is art, I feel like I'm going to get enough words that are almost going to encompass all of human existence, right? Like some people might write down what?
One of the first ones would be like experience.
Yeah, it might be experience, it might be feeling, somebody might say sound, somebody might say painting, somebody might say image, somebody might say sense data as a human, somebody might say interpretation. Like, we're going to get so many words, it's going to encompass almost everything in the observable universe and everything that we experience subjectively as humans, right?
But there has to be some excluding principle. Something, you need to be able to say, like, when I communicate art, humans will understand that this is not art, right? When you talk, that is our experience day to day, where people don't walk around and say anything is art all the time.
But don't they? Isn't that exactly the types of?
No. Please go.
Some people that's the thing. That's what I mean. That's what I was saying earlier. How like we largely broadly agree to things, even if it is subjective.
Yeah, because I feel like when you say I feel like people exactly have done that for a long time, and that's always been the debate, right?
Yeah.
So here, I can give you a specific example of this. Is Before the guy made the post, if I was just to say gravy gnome, it meant absolutely nothing. It was meaningless. It wasn't art at all. But now that someone made the post and added everything surrounding it to it, now there's an entire community where gravy gnome is now a meme.
Yeah.
It's a joke. Everything else, now that it's art, because everybody sees it as art, even though gravy gnome is actually retarded.
It signifies
because
that
we've
something has
assigned
happened.
value to it. Because we've added value to it, it's now art.
Yeah, it signified that transformation happened. That the word has now.
But was there any process?
There is a process. There literally was a process. People got together and agreed, or someone made that first whatever. I don't know what you're talking about, but whatever.
It's not
that thing
necessarily
is.
replicable, right? You can't necessarily replicate that process, though, right? It's not like a defined etched in stone process. It's just
No,
it's a phenomenon that happens.
It's not an incoherent phenomena where you don't see what's going on in the minds of people. What's happened in the minds of people are either one, someone is intending to put something into existence to share or not share, or just to for it to be in existence, some modicum of intentionality, or enough people are talking to each other and experiencing it and experiencing something that they perceive to be art, and that is it. Because otherwise, I mean, it's not occurring for a whole lot of different phenomena and stuff, and we have to be able, as language speakers, to distinguish it.
Yeah, I'm just saying that like you keep appealing to this language speaker, like having a definition of art is like vital to our navigation through the world. Like for things like water or for things like food, like I would agree, but for things like art, like it feels like people.
I don't want to have to do this with sandwich, dude. Like
I'm not saying with sandwich. Hold on, stop. I'm just saying that anytime this is invoked, it's literally to argue over what it is, right? Look at things like death grips. Like, oh, is this music? Does this count as real music? Or for painting, for Jason Pollock, for the Pollock paintings, is this even art? Is this even a painting? Like, whenever people are bringing up that concept, it's never for clarification. It's almost always used as an argumentative tool to like subjectively attack something. Like, when was the last time you heard somebody invoke this question, invoke the concept of art when it wasn't to attack subjectively their aesthetic appreciation or lack thereof of something else?
I think almost always people say, "Is this even art?" They're saying, "Do I like it? Is it evocative?" And they're not asking the broader category question.
Yeah, but that shows then that your appeal to saying that like, well, it's important that it means something. You're giving me an example right now. It doesn't. It's literally used to say something else.
A word can have multiple meanings, and one of the meanings of the way that will be invoked is something. Art is equivalent to good or profound or something that invokes emotion. When we all agree that there can be art that is totally boring, that invokes no emotion in 100% of humans that encounter it, even though it was intended to, even though everyone recognizes it as art, that these are just two different ways that we use the word. But right now, you guys happen to be having a conversation about the category question and what even is art. And on that question, I think you need to be able to communicate with other human beings. And the truth is, when we're asking what art is, you're asking whether there is some intentionality in its creation, I think, right? Or whether some group of people are experiencing it. And anything more specific than that, I agree, is too narrow.
Sure, and I agree with what you just said, but I mean that what you just gave is if that doesn't encompass the entire observable universe, it's like right up to the edge of encompassing it. Because you just said it's like whatever somebody could perceive as something.
No, whatever someone does perceive, whatever people do perceive, not could. So when you pee
okay,
this morning,
well, if you invoke anything,
morning?
What?
Did you pee this morning?
Sure.
Do you perceive your pee as art?
Personally, no.
Did you intend for it to be art?
Personally, no.
So I think we all agree that your pee this morning wasn't art.
I disagree.
Wait, is that true?
I think it is art. If you think from an artistic lens, you can make it art.
Yeah, I think that's the
why
issue.
I think it's a language.
Do you actually
like a person that only speaks Mandarin? If they see the Spanish word agua, like that doesn't mean anything to them. But if they switch to a Spanish-speaking perspective, it suddenly means something. I think the art works the same way.
Can you? Sorry.
Loser.
Say that another way. Would you mind?
So I think that art functions as a language. So I think that like you can view some things. It's a really weird language because it can interpret anything. So like if you only spoke Mandarin, where the characters are nothing like the romanticized languages, you can't. When you see Spanish words, you can't conceptualize them. But when you switch to a Spanish lens, when you learn Spanish, those things suddenly gain meaning. And I think you do the same thing with art. I think once you turn your artistic lens on, you turn on your artistic language, you can start interpreting things in a very fluid way, and that's
you
what
saying
makes
it's all about communication and a mode of language is making it more narrow than anyone else has today. What you're saying is that art is a kind of way to communicate ideas and to communicate, because language is a method of communication. And so what you're saying is art is even more narrow. Art is the language of communicating concepts and feelings. And that implies that intentionality, right?
No,
because
he's not implying intentionality. He's implying relationship that could be invoked at any point in time. That the language creates a relationship between observer and thing that's being observed, right?
Or even just concepts, right? Like, so if we take somebody like what's that Cage guy, guys? He has a piece where he. Yeah,
Johnny
he has a
Cage.
piece. Yes, Johnny Cage. He has a piece where he literally plucks cactuses that he's hooked up to like electricity, and that's how it generates sound. And it sounds like shit. Anybody listening to that is probably going to walk away saying like, "Yeah, that's probably not music, right?" But I think Sejin's onto something in that you can analyze something through an artistic lens and say, "All right." Using these characteristics or like using like these concepts, I can analyze this as art because it meets a certain criteria, right? I can listen to it and be like, okay, these frequencies are somewhat musical in some senses, right? The rhythm in which he plucks it is somewhat rhythmical. It has some sense of musicality to it, right?
As according to whom? As according to either the person who made it or the people who hear it.
The people who hear it, because they're the ones using
the only thing that matters.
Turn on the lens.
Wait, so the subjectivity is the only thing that matters? So someone who intends to make art, but no one else thinks it.
No, the observation of something. That person is the person that gets to decide if that is art or not to them. They don't get to decide it for anybody else.
No. The mistake there is labeling anything as art in the first place. Anything can be art when you're looking at it through an artistic lens.
Yes, exactly. You can analyze anything as art.
If you have an intent and a creative process, I think that's enough to make art, even if no one else thinks it's art.
If no one, then
if you create something through an artistic lens, then you're also receiving it through an artistic lens.
Wait.
Yes, So
I just want to make sure I heard that. If no sentient
no one
creature,
else,
no one thinks something is art, it can be art.
Yes.
No. If nothing observes it,
it could be. Yes.
No, it is. The intent and the creative process is there.
Wow. Sorry,
I would argue it wouldn't even matter.
The person who created it, right? The person who created it doesn't think it's art. No one who observes it thinks it's art. Is there any situation
No. He
where
thinks it's art because the
art?
intent is to create art, but then everyone else looks at it and says, no,
sorry.
that
Then I'm asking a slightly different question, which is, if it's the case that the person who created something didn't intend for it to be art, and no one else perceives it as art, could that thing be art?
Yes, because I'd say yes because I don't think there can exist something that cannot be art.
Damn.
Art is useless, and this is a
regardless of whether or not the
art is not
person
useless.
Who creates...
Art is a language we can use to
but you said
wrestle with certain concepts.
Even if nobody thinks it is.
Think about
how is that not
give me any sort of example, right? If you look at it through an artistic lens, you can find something a concept to wrestle with internally.
But you can't because you said no one does.
Somebody doesn't mean you can't or couldn't.
Wait, Sejin, are you just saying that like not everything is art, but anything could potentially be art?
I'm saying everything has an artistic value, whether or not you see it or not.
Yes.
Yeah, it could.
Yes.
Ye would say.
But that value is totally dependent on people's minds, right? And
well, yeah, but you would have to lay out okay, so this is a big thing with art critique, right? Art critique means nothing in a vacuum, obviously, right? In order for a critique of art to mean something, you have to lay out your criteria or your reasoning for why you're critiquing.
Wait. Hold on, wait. Just real quick, be very careful. When we talk about art critique, we are usually talking about evaluating oftentimes like objective measures of like a piece of art. Or it could be a subjective enjoyment.
It could be this.
Hold on, let me finish.
It could be.
It's an objective measure of piece of art. So like how many instruments are used, or it could be the subjective enjoyment of that piece. But it is very rarely, if ever, the evaluation of is it art. Very rarely is a subjective critique trying to figure out is this music or is this a movie or is this art. That's never the question generally.
Right, but I'm saying in the same way that you would lay out your reasoning for justifying your critique, you would then lay out your reasoning for why you think something is art or why you perceive something to be art.
And say everyone disagrees with you. And never like, no,
It
that was
doesn't
never even-
matter.
I mean,
you
you're
don't need a
looking at it-
consensus for something to be felt as or viewed as art.
Hang on, like no, you are the only person who thinks that this thing is art. It's an old shoe, and everyone's like, I don't know what you're doing. You're just looking at an old shoe. That's not art, and no one agrees with you. You think that in the human language, as we use the term art, notwithstanding the fact that in this own person's subjective, idiosyncratic opinion, it's art.
But
notwithstanding that, you think that is art as we understand it as a humanity.
Yes.
Just because one.
Well, I think the shoe is made with intentionality in a creative process in order to form a certain image. In
None of
people's
that's
minds.
required.
You guys would never
None
say
of
this
that
of
matters.
any. You guys would never say this of any other word. And I know Steven's gonna get, but let me finish this before I'm gonna have to go in a bit. If I were to say like everyone's definition of like sandwich is a certain thing, certain kinds of things within bounds, and someone's like, well, I think that shoe's a sandwich. You would never say like, well
the shoe's not
subjectively it is a sandwich to him. You know, he perceives it to be a sandwich, and so who are we to say that that's not a sandwich?
Because I'm
the
taking
same
art,
thing.
the word art, the concept art, and I'm elevating it to the same level of language, right?
You're just playing category
Yeah,
games. Where
the
you can just
prob-
define
yeah.
a category to be anything and redefine it in a way that it doesn't have any social meaning anymore, but it does have private meaning to you, which is just playing retarded.
Yeah,
word
what
games.
we're talking about is private language and proprietary.
No. The problem with your analogy is that you're taking like a noun that is set to describe a certain thing that we all understand what that thing is, and then you're taking a concept like art and of trying to apply it in a way that's analogous.
Well, no. So
because
the
it's
difference
not.
is the difference is he's talking about the concept of a sandwich versus the concept of art. And
Yes.
what you're saying is true, but the difference is that like the concept of sandwich is vital, whereas the concept of art is like almost nebulous on purpose, right? Like
Exactly.
what is a sandwich is important because we need to know what we can eat or not. What is art is not really that important because it's actually almost completely irrelevant to our subjective enjoyment of any particular piece of art. So I think there's a difference in
I think the same thing could be true of like, I don't know, loud, right? Loud. Think about loud. What does loud mean? Loud means, you know, we could all have a subjective understanding of loud, true, but is the sound of like a little piece of fluff landing on the ground, would we ever say, well, you know, it's loud, even though all of us are in agreement, like 99% of us, except for those with super Spider-Man hearing, agree that it's not loud? Would we ever say that that's a loud sound?
Nope.
Yeah, I think it's the same kind of thing with all these categories.
No, that's way different because loud tends to describe like an actual sensory feeling, right? Like pain, right? Like I would say loud is like a type of sensation, and that's gonna be one of the few things that we can.
How about we do beautiful? Beauty is very often in the eye of the beholder, right? Everyone says that, and everyone agrees that there's a private, personal, subjective concept of beautiful. But are you going to tell me that there's not like that we can't agree on some things that are more sort of universally understood to be beautiful? And when we communicate things, that those
that's what I was
things
saying earlier. How
are expressed.
like there's no hard and fast rules, but a lot of people can largely agree on broad kind of definitions.
Yes, I mean the same thing with healthy. If something is healthy or not. Would anyone think that like someone who's about to die in a minute, is that healthy?
Well, it depends on why they're going to die.
Well, they because they have punctured
Cancer.
lungs. They
From listening
have
to this
cancer,
conversation,
They have
so.
everything. They have everything bad about them. Is that person healthy?
No, but if they're totally fine and healthy otherwise, and in 1 minute I'm going to put a bullet through their head, well, then I would say
No, but
yes,
the
they're
person's
healthy,
like,
even though they're
I'm
going
at
to die
peace.
in a minute.
I'm at peace. I'm healthy because I value. 1 minute to me is like 100,000 years, and I really think that this isn't really
So
even
again,
a problem.
he's assigning his own private definition of healthy, and
Yeah,
as
it's the
opposed
same thing
to a
with art.
public definition of healthy.
Same thing.
But
No, but the difference is that art is broadly agreed. Like we've all kind of agreed on. Like there typically isn't much challenge to the category of healthy. There is so much challenge even within art to what is art.
Bro, you just had a million billion debates about.
Don't bring up the Nazi shit. Are you really going to compare these two things?
Wait, no. The vaccine and people's relative risk of like myocarditis and the risk that they put to.
Bro,
to
that
different
this
things,
is
like what they
no.
perceive to be
Hold
healthy.
on. To make this conversation equivalent, it would have to be people saying, "Oh, I think eating shit could make you healthy," or "Oh, maybe cutting off your arm could make you healthy," or
no,
"Oh,
that's
having cancer." No. We
perfect,
broadly
yeah.
we broadly agree 97%. Actually, Even with the anti-vaxxers, we agree on what healthy is. They just disagree on the fact of the matter what the vaccine does. If they agreed that the vaccine like prevented you from getting diseases, they say, "Oh, that's healthy."
That's
not a discussion on what is
the only
healthy.
consensus I'm appealing to. But there are some things that there is so little people calling that thing art, and there was no intention behind its creation, that we would feel comfortable saying, just like we would say that that's not healthy, despite your private language.
Yeah, but as I and again, not to appeal to the.
Art. No one.
Hold on, wait. I will. This is the only time I can ever invoke my fucking education because it never comes up. But as somebody that's gone through fucking art school, or at least 3 years of it, I would never challenge anybody on it ever because it always leads to autistic conversations like this. Anytime anybody ever in a fucking art school were to say like, I feel like that's a piece of art, nobody except for maybe a freshman would be like, I don't think that's art, because they know they're about to get dogpiled by 50 million upperclassmen who are like, oh really? Or some pretentious grad student. Oh, you don't think that's art? Oh, well, what do you think is art? The saxophone world is Kenny G art? Oh, do you think this is like everybody's gonna smooth jazz art? Like everybody's gonna talk. And then at the end of that conversation of getting gangbanged, you're gonna be like, okay, yeah, fuck. I'm never gonna say that's not art again because I'm never gonna be able to.
What about your toe fungus?
We're gonna say all the same shit. The ash of the person that was in Auschwitz, is that art? Like, I don't know.
No. But that one, might be. But the toe fungus, where you don't intentionally create it, and no one perceives it. There's no world in which you say that's art, right? Unless you are perceiving it.
What about the flashes of people in Hiroshima? Is that art?
NFTs.
Wait, Pisco, I have a question. So why? Okay, so would you say that the problem with the definition of art that we're trying to put forward is too nebulous, therefore useless? Like, is that your general argument?
It's useless because it's because everything is art, right?
Okay, so here
the difference.
Everything is art.
Let's assume that we agree on a definition.
Well, Rage Bob, hold on. The argument isn't everything is art. It's everything could be art, right?
On that we're agreed, right? Because as long as there are sufficient minds for us to, for there to be creativity or intentionality about creation, or people to experience things, I think I would say that anything could conceivably be art, but not everything is art.
Yeah, so it seems like go ahead. Sorry, go.
Well, I was going to say, so is your problem the subjectivity of the definition of art in and of itself? Like, are you trying to find an objective way to define art?
No. I'm trying to say that our words need to mean things, and to mean things, they need to exclude certain categories of things. And I'm not telling you to draw the line precisely, but at the very least, we should agree on the kinds of things that we look to when we're deciding if things,
I would say
that how do you distinguish AI art from actual
wait, shut up, Rachel. Before we even start talking about AI, we need to talk about the definition of art and what Pisco's problem is with it, right? So the thing is that you said what was the very last thing that you said?
I said that at the very least we should agree on the kinds of things that we're looking to see if humanity would see this as art.
Yeah, you were trying to say that if we put forth the definition, it has to necessarily exclude other things. Otherwise, it becomes useless and too nebulous, right?
Yes, there needs to be ways to which to distinguish this is art, this is not art.
So would you say that the definition that we conventionally use or understand as art right now, do you think that is too nebulous or meaningless?
No, I think it's fine. I think most people, live their day-to-day life experience with, and their art definition is fine, and we appeal. I think that they're using the term art to mean specific things, and they're referencing creation and experience. Those are the things that they seem to be referencing. And so I think that perfectly maps on. But if it's purely subjective, in which case, like any speck of dust that one person thinks is art makes it art, then now it's too loose for me. I think that's too subjective.
Well, I think that the art community, or just people that engage in art, generally speaking, I'm going to make a broad claim here, but most people operate with this definition of art is subjective. You kind of just know it when you see it, and most people don't operate with this trying to qualify what is art with specific qualities or things that you experience or whatever, right? And that's the thing, is that you're trying to play this word game and say okay, well, if it can mean anything, or it doesn't exclude anything, then it's nebulous. But this definition of art, the way that we use the word art has meaning, and it has functionality as we use it right now, and it is nebulous the way that we use it, even within that
I agree, it's broad, but I don't think it's nebulous. So maybe I'll approximate and try to see if I'm understanding correctly what your guys' definition is, which is anything is art that at least one person thinks is art. Is that the definition of art?
No, you need to stop using it as a label.
Stop. I'm asking Mind Waves, Destiny,
no.
and Rachel. Is your definition of art anything that one conscious human mind thinks is art?
No. It could be, but no.
Is it a sufficient condition for something to be art that any one mind perceive it to be art?
No.
Okay, then that seems totally at odds with what you guys have been saying for the past.
No, it has not at all.
30 minutes.
Well,
I
I can perceive a chair as a tree. It doesn't make it that thing, right? Like, so, like, whether or not somebody could perceive something as something is kind of like besides the point. If we're trying to define what is something.
Yeah. So if any one person does perceive an object as art, it is art.
No.
So that's what I'm arguing against.
No, I think the distinction is just that anything could be perceived as art if you perceive it that way.
Yeah, so I'm saying that it's not enough for me to be like, okay, that's art just because one human mind perceives it to be art or affirms it.
Well, yeah, but then we go back to, it's subjective. I can think it's art because I'm perceiving it in a different way, right? But you are going to maybe perceive it in a different way.
But that's private language, right? That's private language.
Yeah, and that's how, like, what's the problem with that, though?
I think there's a lot of problems with private language because we're trying to get to mutual understandings, and I think
the only area that it's a problem is when you start taking these very niche, obscure, outside, like we're on the edges of like what is art or like the category of art, right? Like for 99.9999% of things, we can categorize of like the word art has meaning when we're trying to look at something or use it in that context, right?
Okay, so
what you're doing is because we can't define this one thing that is very niche and abstract and therefore the word's meaningless. It's like
Destiny's going to say no. Destiny's going to say no.
Wow.
Do you is there a definition for art that you think is a good definition for art?
There is no good definition for art. No. That's why I said you know it when you see it. That's like the best way that you could possibly describe it.
Who knows it when it sees it?
The observer, any observer, you, me, anybody.
Wouldn't it be so? So then it would be correct then that if any person sees something and knows it to be art, it is art.
To them, subjectively, not objectively.
Wait, Pisco, do you think that something could be art, but you also think it's bad art?
Yes.
Wait, little Tojo, how do you feel about this?
I can't believe I'm still here.
Okay, we're just curious.
Yeah, no, this is retarded. This is so fucking retarded.
Whoa, hey,
based. Actually based.
I'm so sorry. I totally forgot we're not supposed to say that.
Remedial.
Yeah, I'm just gonna
remedial art.
Remedial.
This is remedial art class.
Not actually even worse. Destiny, you said remedial is actually worse than retarded.
Yeah,
I said it again. I'm sorry.
Wait, Steven, before I leave, I have to leave now.
Yeah, what's up, babe?
I just want to get your opinion. Do you think the definition for art, would you agree with the definition that said anything that any one person perceives as art is art?
It would have to be.
All right. Good talk, guys. This was a really fascinating conversation.
This was this was not good. No.
Oh, I had fun. I know everyone else who got frustrated. But
Wait, Pisco, before you go, you think that's an insane metric? Like, if I
yeah, I do.
So my kid draws something, they scribble something. I'm a parent. I'm like, oh, okay, I think this is art. You would say like no or what?
No. I think that there's a carve out for the creator. If someone is intending to put something into existence, regardless of what everyone else thinks, I think that when people talk, they're either referencing that act of creation, that modicum of intentionality, which would be totally, inclusive of a child drawing something, or they're referencing the experiential side, where it wouldn't be enough for me for one person to think it, but it would on the creativity side, because I think that's how people talk.
Yes, that's exactly.
I feel like when you use the word art, we're invoking a whole family of concepts, and we're leaving the door open for the other person to even add to it. I think that's like the challenge, is that art is not already, it's not only is it already incredibly broad, but but we're almost inviting another person by even saying the word art to adding to it at the same time. So that's why I think it's hard. If somebody, like, again, it's the dream of like every art student when you're in a debate with somebody to be able to say, well, that's not even art. Like everybody wants to be able to say that, and everybody's had an argument at some point if they've gone to any type of art school where they want to argue like anime's not art or this isn't art or blah blah. But like you can't do it because people will start to endlessly challenge you on a definition, and you can never solidify anything down.
Yeah,
That's just
art is also very like culturally rooted as well, right? Like what we understand as being art, it depends on like where you're at like in time and place as well. Like for a long time, music created using like digital means wasn't considered music, right? But like after a while, it's normalized and seen as more of a tool, and then now we all recognize it to be music, right?
Well, look at the fighting right now that's going on with animators. Is CG anime? Does that even count? A lot of people don't like CG anime.
This is, I think it's a little bit of a, I don't know, equivocation of terms, because I think what they're getting at is the other question. It's the question of, is it good? Is it worthwhile? Is it, you know, does it evoke the same thing? Is it the same quality? Which is not the category question, which I think might be what people are getting at. And then there are other, I guess, subsidiary questions which I think are more interesting are the, should we protect AI art or should we fight it? Which maybe you guys would have talked about if I didn't bog it down.
Okay.
Bye, Pisco.
Later, guys.
Bye, Pisco.
Love you, buddy.
Bye, Pisco.
Steven, do you not like my definition?
Not particularly. I don't think it's bad. It's fine.
I want to try to push you on this. Can you
well,
describe
hold on, wait,
something
before we do
that's
this, because Pep actually organized a chat with me, and she got like fucking forgetted by a million other people. Sorry.
Oh, I was just drawing, so I was listening. I was listening to the cast. I feel like nobody kind of agrees with my point of there's not actually enough. There's not a like enough of a distinguishable difference in terms of having an artist's like intent put into the AI art with the current setup. I don't think anybody agrees with me on that, and I think that's kind of my sticking point about why this is so different from every other kind of art, and being like, I don't think like if there's no measurable difference between what one person can enter, and if two people enter the exact same thing, beyond that entry of the words, there's going to be nothing that influences the outcome of the art. None of their preferences, none of their skill, nothing like that. And I feel like people don't agree with me on that.
So then is Banksy art? Do you consider Banksy art?
Yeah, why?
Okay, well, do you know that it's actually a person doing it, or is it a robot doing it behind the scenes and then being put out wherever?
If it's a robot doing it behind the scenes, either a human is controlling it to do that, or this is getting back.
No, it's an AI. We have a super advanced AI made by DARPA. It's sitting in a lab. How do you know that that's not the case?
Is it sentient?
No, it's not sentient. It's just a DARPA thing that
I think
it knows
before
what
this,
it's going to evoke things.
Yeah, real quick before this ventures off into this 72-hour debate into it. Yeah, it's going right back to where you guys were before. My feeling of things, this is how I felt about this, and nothing has budged me from this yet, is I feel like as we develop more and more sophisticated artificial intelligences that are more generalized and less specific, I think that what I feel is happening for humans is our minds are not as unique as we want them to be, and that we like our minds are unique in terms of what exists on this planet right now, but in that uniqueness, we feel that not only are they currently unique, they could never be duplicated. No amount of machinery could ever duplicate it. And over time, we've seen machines make big strides in replacing humans in a lot of areas. They do math faster than us. They can sometimes solve problems in creative ways that we can't. They've assisted us even in things like art. But there's one thing that a human brain can do that machines can never do, and that's inspiration and innovation and creativity. These have been traditionally considered the domain of human, and art and no amount of machine shit can ever touch it, because that's a unique special thing that is like a priori granted to us as humans. But the problems that we're starting to see are that maybe that creative process that we feel like is the amalgamation of some special unquantifiable human experience that exists, that's a greater sum of all of the abstract is greater than all the sum of our parts, is something that we can't quantify, is being quantified now in incredibly complicated and highly sophisticated machine learning programs. And when we see that happen, we don't want to believe that that can happen. So we start to arbitrarily increase the complexity and the threshold for what it means to be art and all of this, because we want to feel like we're holding on to something that still makes us unique and human. That's the feeling that I get.
Some people might be doing that, but that is not at all my intent here. I feel like what makes humans like artistic in particular is pretty quantifiable, and I
So what is that quantity?
Some is mysterious. The things that I've been saying, the preferences and traits and skills you develop over time.
Yeah, but even
But
at that, like I could wait, hold on. I just want to run this down real quick without 50 million interruptions, okay?
Yeah.
So when you talk about experiences, right?
Mm-hmm.
All of that can be programmed, right? Have you seen the movie Blade Runner 2049?
No.
Okay, there's like a guy that walks around, he looks and talks and acts like a human or whatever, but he's not sure if he's a human because he doesn't have like memories. He doesn't know if he ever existed as a human, and he was made into a robot or something like that, basically, right? But the question is like, well, what makes him human? What is human? Do memories make you human? Do subjective experiences? Because subjective like feelings, those can be programmed. You can control like input and monitor for, you know, temperature, for vision, for sounds. Like these things are all data points that can be.
We're not there yet.
Well, but that's kind of the question, right? Because the question is are
No, we're absolutely, the AI generators are not, they don't have
you can
feelings.
say that and you can laugh, but the reality is even artists, even fucking AI people, well, maybe not super into AI people, but everybody is shocked because the level of art that is coming out from AI generators today, I know this, everybody thought that this was impossible 10 years ago. If you would have shown people that you could input some crazy random string of text and you could get out a novel piece of artwork drawn in a stylistic sense that seems like inspired and human, everybody 10 years ago would have said, that's impossible, that will never happen. And now we're there. So to say that like, oh no, it's a totally different process.
But we're not there yet to the like having it be the same as a human experiencing and creating art. It's not. It does not.
For purposes of like a Turing test, you wouldn't know, right? I could show you different pieces of art, and you'd have no idea if it's AI inspired or not. You could proxy it with like the finger thing or whatnot. But if I'm giving you like pictures of scenery, whatever, it would be flawlessly past the Turing test of art, right?
Yeah, I guess so if you want to put it that way. But then again, so does a photocopy.
Well, no, the thing is that you were going to say, well, you're basically making the argument that, well, the AI art isn't compelling enough, right? But the thing is, it obviously is. Otherwise, we wouldn't be having this conversation. Otherwise, artists wouldn't feel threatened or like be upset about this subject, right? AI art has reached a point where it's compelling enough to pass as art. And that's why this is a discussion.
Yeah, I can say that it's compelling enough to pass as art. I think the reason for this discussion, like what interests me about it is what makes it art and what makes it like why human art. None of this would be able to be created in the first place without human art. But really, what fascinates me about all this.
Wait, I gotta wait.
Sorry,
I'm sorry, because you keep saying these statements that are that apply to humans too. You keep saying none of this can be created without human art. None of the art that exists today as humans can be created without prior human art. Nothing can be, right? So everything so a lot of the statements and critiques you're making of AI are equally created by are equally critiquable by humans. The music we have today doesn't
but
exist.
AI, because of how AI functions, it's not human. It doesn't learn the same way humans do.
I guess that's just a part that we disagree with, because I feel like the learning process is almost identical. Like
it is not at all.
But what is the difference? Because all you're going to do is your answer to this, and try to answer it in a way that's different. Because it feels like every time I push you on answer this, what you're going to give me an answer of is, well, it's different because, and then you're going to say humans have a broader data set. But I could give
a broader data set, and it's filtered through that. It's not just.
But hold on, what does that mean?
It's
filtered,
not just a one-to-one input.
AIs are not one-to-one input output. Maybe like 5 years ago they would have.
No. But it's inputting art and that's it. It's inputting art and photos, and then like the dude said earlier, you can weight things certain ways. I know that like DALL-E, or actually I think it was DALL-E or was it Midjourney, who was trying to weight things to be more what's the word? Inclusive.
Yeah, everything you're saying humans do. We weight things different ways. All of we're going by is the inputs of things that we've seen. You can't ask a person that's never seen a tree before to draw a tree. They can't do it. They need a series of inputs as well.
Mm-hmm. But the outcome that they're going to generate is going to be different based on who they are and their experiences.
Yeah, which is the same thing as the data sets for an AI thing. The database.
If you're talking about different data sets and people training the AI themselves, I would probably have a different argument.
Well, yeah, but the only difference then between the AI and the people is there are more people than AIs. Like if I made 5 million different iterations of AIs that all trained off of different training data sets, would you all of a sudden be okay with it?
I would call you an artist in that case if you were training them, if you were creating them, if you were structuring, if you were making those choices. It's the intent on your part there. Whereas it's not the intent on people like just using it. Just random users don't have any input in that way.
I don't know if I believe that 100%. You're saying that if a person created a data training set that included copyright works and all the things that are currently triggering artists. But if
I would say it's unethical, but I would say that it's their intention in choosing that is more present than when people just use Midjourney or DALL-E.
well, when you say that it's unethical, would it be unethical for a human to practice off of like copyright material?
No, because humans learn different from AI.
How in what meaningful way?
Because everything you learn is filtered through like your preferences. When I learned how to draw bodies, I liked learning to draw women because I think women are prettier.
But
all of these things are
but
going to be
all of these preferences could be
distinct to a person.
Yeah, but all of these preferences could be programmed to a machine. Like I want you to.
Are they?
They could be. Well, yeah, and for
But
some
they
of these
aren't right now.
Wait, so if I give a
There's not
preference
enough
to a
room.
machine to have a preference for white people and softer figures, is all of this okay now for you because I gave it a couple of preferences?
No, because it's not unless you're the person also doing the prompts. I don't feel like it's. I want the artist's experience and what their preferences are and their artistic vision to be actually evidenced in the end result.
Where did your preferences for women come from?
What do you mean?
Well, you're saying the AI's preferences came from another human, therefore it's like invalid. But I'm curious, like, where did your preferences for drawing women come from?
What do you mean? I think it's invalid for one person to. I think it's like the thing before that we were talking about collaboration-wise, how collaboration implies active participation, and one person designing something and another person using it isn't the same as collaboration.
Okay, don't think that answered my question, but that's okay.
Oh,
Whatever.
it didn't. But I just had an issue with you saying that I didn't think that a human choosing it. That doesn't disallow it. It just means that I only think it's should be considered for the person that made it, not just a random prompter. Sorry, restate your question again, though. What was the question?
All I was trying to get at is that your argument was that, like, you're special, your art is special because you have a preference for women. And I was curious, like, where do you think that preference came from? Do you think it came from, like does it matter?
My life experiences, I don't know, like just
From
all
another,
the
from a,
random things.
it came from a training set, the data set, right?
Yeah.
Which is the collective
Yeah,
experience of your life, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Which current AI models don't have.
Okay, well, I think that's Destiny's argument, is that, like, their training set is other data, which is like their.
Well, and also I think that
They just have the art pieces.
I think that the AI do have these preferences. Like the AI that exists today is incredibly sophisticated. It's not just copy pasting parts of images to
This
each
is
other.
the same thing with statistics, though. No, the only reason it has preferences is because of how humans generate things. It can show a preference for like big titty anime girls in certain sectors because people generate a lot of big titty anime girls. But that's not the machine having a preference. That's people having a preference.
Yeah, but now we get into weird deterministic things where like, do people have preferences or do their parents have preferences they give to them, right? But I don't know. Hold on, I'll be back a second.
So we're gonna go to where this is where I was trying to lead to is like, yeah, where do preferences come from, and like that whole deterministic thing that you're about to go on, yeah. Like like unironically, I believe in destiny, kind of, because like I believe like we don't make decisions. Like I don't believe in free will.
I think the point you're trying to make, and maybe I'm wrong, is that like you're trying to point towards the fact that it doesn't really matter where these preferences come from, right? Is that like that that Pep over here is trying to be super discriminatory about like what preferences matter when it comes to AI art. But like you yourself as a human probably don't even know where your artistic preferences come from, right? Like this isn't something that we don't like look at human art, like or art created by humans with the same sort of discriminatory lens.
Yeah, like to me, at the end of the day, it's just ones and zeros, and like that might sound like a meme, but I kind of truly fucking believe that. Yeah, like it's just math. At the end of the day, human preferences, robot preferences, it doesn't matter.
You know what? I kind of almost agree with this. I feel like life is like a series of logic puzzles where like input A ends up resulting in like output B, things like that. But I feel like that actually contributes to my point more, I guess.
So I have a question for you, Pep. I guess two questions. So one, say I had a tool, I could stick this on your head, and it could read your thoughts, and then there'd be like a robot in the other room that would make whatever piece of art that you had, right? So if you wanted to make a sculpture, it would go to the marble block and cut it out. If you wanted to paint, it had all the oils available. Is that art?
Yeah, because it's taking the visualizations from your brain, right? That's what your brain is coming up with.
Okay, sure. So, but then now, what if we have a generator, right, that can generate all of these images that you've created, and it's already created that thing that you've created? Is that
So then I'm
has
not the
that
one that
made art
created it.
before you?
No, I don't think so. I think that that's what's different is like human
So,
purpose is
if you have
giving
the
input.
exact
This is
same
such
outcome,
like a.
so if you have the
I
exact
don't think
same
you would have
outcome,
the exact
one
same outcome as the thing.
no. I'm saying it actually has because we have an infinite number of rooms, and it's put every single possible output. That's that's possible.
I mean, this is the whole like monkeys writing Shakespeare thing, though, right?
Sure. Yes.
Yeah.
Pep,
So
is your issue with it that like AI art is devaluing the experience of artists, like true artists, in your mind?
No, I just think it's the issue I have with it. The actual issue I have with it is I think that most current AI models are unethical because they took art like they're all
Wait.
trained on a training database that was made for research, and so they didn't filter out like art that is copyright that people didn't want to
But
be
you
have put in that. And I feel like that's the problem I have with it. But the technology itself, I don't actually have that much of a problem with. I think it's cool. I just don't think it's. I don't think it makes people an artist the same way if I downloaded a bunch of cheats and speedran a game. I don't think it would make me a speedrunner. You know,
well, but it is.
like
There's a tool assisted speedrunner category.
yeah, I guess, but then it would be defined